Well, I was walking down the street, feeling kind of neat, when the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Oh, it was a sight to see, my hair flying in the breeze, 'cause the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. People started laughing, they couldn't believe their eyes, as my wig flew through the sky. Oh, what a surprise. I tried to catch it, but it slipped right through my hands, 'cause the wind came out your butt and now it's somewhere in the land. Oh, wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Baby, you drive like shit. Did you see that car that you almost hit? I'd rather take the bus instead. Riding with you, I'm gonna end up dead. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. She just ran through, always stop. I ain't trying to get stopped by the cops. Baby, why the hell did I let you drive? It's a miracle that you're still alive. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look out, my girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whooping ain't over. Heard you think you're tough. Gotta let you know, I will fuck you up. I whoop that ass, talking all that shit, spank that ass till you tap like a bitch. No, I ain't playing, I'm here to kick ass. Whoop that ass, it's time to punch face. I'm the one who brings you pain in the ring. I whoop that ass until the bell rings. Already know that I do not play. Throw a punch like I'm cutting down hay. I whoop that ass every single night. Spank that ass till they stop the fight. I'll tell you the story of a man, a radioactive tip in his hand. His hand grew 10 times its normal size to help him get his money on time. He knew if a bitch was telling a lie, which was 100% of the time. Superpowers to make a bitch listen, then get her naked with sex-ray vision. Sweep a police station in a single bound, slapping bitches down to the fucking ground. His name was famous across the land. They called him the pimp named Superhand. Oh shit, yeah. His pimp named Superhand. He had powers no other pimp had. Oh fuck yeah. His pimp named Superhand. That motherfucker was super bad. Asking for dinner ain't asking for much. You had one job and still fucked it up. Sometimes you gotta learn respect. I use my pimp hand to correct. It's called a big slap, slap. Come get your face clapped.
don't tell me about me. Stop telling 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 me about me. I don't need you to tell me about me.
Welcome back, y'all, to another one, man. Another episode. Let's talk Jay vs. Jordan, man. For everybody on your way in, man, as always, you know I appreciate you, but I need y'all to do something for you, boy, man. I need y'all to hit that like, hit that subscribe, all that in the bag of chips, man. Share the videos, turn them notifications on. I can't remember what to tell you, man. If you're watching on Facebook, I know y'all got other things to do, man. Make sure y'all do all that stuff for you, boy. Look, y'all know I covered this before. And I've been waiting for another update to pop off. And I just ran across one, man. If y'all don't remember the original video, I Married a Monster, we talked about it, and this lady talked about some devastating things that happened to her. She talked about her somewhat experience when it came to how she got to where she got to. But, you know, I ain't finna spoil it. She actually went on to another interview with Harley Initiated. And they had a conversation, and I think I'm gonna be reaffirmed in my original, analysis of the situation of what I believe. If y'all don't know what I believe, you don't know what the conclusion I came to, go back watch the other video, man. Help brother out. But we're gonna talk about it tonight, man. Shira 7 is a demon, and she's causing a lot of harm in this world. But most bitter, evil people seem to do that because they want other people to be down there where they are. But we're gonna go through this, y'all. I'm gonna try to make this a one-parter because it's a Monday and I wasn't planning on doing a show tonight. But if it goes a little long, I might make it a two-parter. And look, y'all let me know what y'all think about this shit. Write it in the comment section. If anybody want to join the panel, let me know. I don't know. I'm not dropping nothing until. But we're gonna go through this and we're gonna see what we're running into. And yeah. So if y'all ready, I'm ready. Let's go and get into it.
I didn't realize that the person I married was actually going to be my biggest nightmare. I was changing my 4-year-old daughter. I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive. Immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her? Oh God. I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was Dad. I felt like my world ended on that day. When I got to the hospital, they basically told me that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old.
Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tyshawn Jackson, in here with my co-host, Ryan Ketchens.
Yeah, man, excited for a very powerful episode. Usually we really go all out.
Yeah, whatever.
Reliving the experience over again.
Yeah, no,
You know how that is when we watching back our old content. Some of it can be hard to watch, so I can only imagine.
I get it. I'm happy that you had the courage to come up here today and really speak with us and speak with anybody. I know there's currently a pending case. You know what happening?
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. There's a pending case currently happening. Open with the conversation what happened. So obviously we're gonna do our best to get as much information as possible. So again, thank you for being.
I'm gonna start this right now. You're crying as soon as the interview started. Come on now. Yeah, come on now. How you crying as soon as the interview started? Don't nobody see nothing wrong with that? Okay. We getting in the character. Let's keep going.
Being here. We're going to get into the conversation shortly. Thank you for all the initiates that were patient in the chat. I had to get my girl Isis straight and make sure she was ready for the show here.
Right.
If you're ready, put a "we ready" in the chat. All right, because we are excited to have this conversation here tonight. All right? Get active in the show. Growing up at home, what did your home look like in your early childhood growing up?
Due to the dynamics of surrounding my birth, which I already talked about, I grew up with a single mom, and my mom did everything possible to provide for me and my little sister. And I think the hard part about being a single mom is that when you're trying to do everything, sometimes it's hard to show up for your children. And I know my mom has always done the best she could, and she's always given us a good life, and she's always protected me. And I couldn't really ask for more. But I knew that when I had a family, or when I wanted to have a family, that I wanted to be able to be there for my children, whether that looked like working from home or being married. I always wanted to be able to be there for my children just so that I knew that they were safe. Because when I was a child, because my mom was working, it left the door open. A neighbor's wife was supposed to be watching me after school, and her husband was taking advantage. And I was only 8 years old at this time.
Wow. And
I didn't tell my mother for a while because it was just confusing, and I was scared, and I thought I would get in trouble. Oh my goodness.
Take your time.
So just to summarize that, I want to make sure I understand. You had was it a single family home growing up? Your mom, she was obviously hardworking woman that had to provide for the
very
family
much so.
all by
And
herself.
in school, always has a PhD, all the above. My mom has really strived. Every woman in my family, even my grandmother, it started with her. I mean, she owns a business, a very successful woman. There's multiple entrepreneurs in my family. So we've always just been, just go get it, make it happen. And I've always been that way. Before meeting my husband, I always worked, provided for my children. I never got child support for my 2 boys. I took care of them. I luckily was able to secure a job with a family business, so I was able to work from home. But it's what I had prayed for when I was pregnant with my second son, because his father got incarcerated when I was 6 months pregnant. And I didn't know what I was going to do because it was just going to be me. And he didn't get out until my son was about 9 months old. But I had to figure it out. And, thank you to my aunt and uncle for giving me that opportunity to be able to be home with my children and provide for them. And we had a nice apartment, and, we had all the good things. I had my own car. I had all my own stuff. But I remember it was one Christmas when it was just us. And I said, you know what? I would like to be married. And I had never said that before. I never wanted to be married just because, I haven't really seen a lot of successful marriages in my life. So when, I'm sorry, I'm talking too far away. But when I had that Christmas, it dawned on me that, maybe I should really put myself out there and try to find a good man for these kids. And, I had 2 boys, and I feel like they needed a good fatherly example because they didn't have it.
Now, we definitely want to dig into that as well. And I want to go back because I want to just breeze past this incident that happened at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Now, you get assaulted by a neighbor's
Yes.
husband. And where's your father at this point? He's just...
My biological father is much older than my mother. He took advantage of her when she was a young girl in high school. I think I remember my mom saying she was in labor trying to take her SATs.
Wow.
And she was the pregnant girl in high school. And, it's unfortunate that he preyed on her like that. But there's so many men like this out there, and people just don't talk about it.
And so the situation is your mother coming from an abusive relationship.
What up? Are we really gonna do this tonight? Y'all, are we really gonna do this tonight? So, we're gonna make it seem like, and I'm just being honest, we're gonna make it seem like women have no autonomy, no control over their own actions. It's just men taking advantage of them. Because that's the way that she's shaping this right now. That's the way that she's shaping it. That's the narrative. That's the story she's trying to build. Her mom was in high school and pregnant because her father took advantage of her. Mama was probably fast. I'm just saying that right now. Like a lot of y'all young girls are fast. You just said that you didn't even think about getting a husband until you was on your second child. That means you was fast. Your grandma was probably fast. Yeah, that's what the old folks called it, y'all, back in the day. They called them fast. Now we call them 304s and stuff. But that fast was the thing back in the day. I'm not really too I don't believe it. But either way, though, I'm gonna let her keep telling the story because honestly, lady, you don't start off this interview crying like that, and I'm not thinking something suspicious is going on. Ain't nobody even talk to you about nothing. Why you crying? Why you already fake crying? Think about it. And I want y'all to watch her face. Watch her face to see if y'all see any tears. I think this lady is perfected talking like this to play on the hearts of men to get them to come around. Because I think there's a lot of suckers out here. I'm gonna listen to what you said, but lady, I'm not really believing you right now. But keep going.
Relationship. Now she has you. You're 8 years old. You go through this traumatic experience with the spouse of a neighbor.
Yeah.
And let's.
And remember, oh my bad, real quick. And remember, she alluded that she got touched by a neighbor, but she said her mother protected her. How did your mother protect you if you got touched? Now I understand that. Now you can't be there all the time. But don't sit here and say your mama did everything she could and all that woo stuff. Your mama had you without being married to a man where y'all didn't have full protection. Your mother's not 100% protection. That's like having a Duracell battery that's like 40%. It's like 40% of a Duracell battery. You need a man there. Your mama, man, look, man, I ain't trying to hear this stuff, man.
Fast forward a bit, because if I'm not mistaken, your first child, you had your first child at 17.
Yes.
So before having the child, what did sex look like to you at this point? Like when was your first sexual experience kind of getting active?
Probably when I was about 13. I lost my virginity to a 17-year-old boy in high school. And yeah, I mean, I was always told just don't have sex growing up.
Did that 17-year-old boy take advantage of you, or did you choose to do it?
I don't know if that's what a lot of people in our community say.
They hear that a lot, I'm
just
sure.
don't do it. It's not really openly discussed about why and what can happen, and even personal experiences that may sway a young girl away from making certain decisions. But you know, I have learned, and I really wanted to be able to speak to young moms when I created my platform. Because if I would have done it over again, granted, I love my children, but if I can speak to a young woman and say, like, don't have kids before marriage if you can help it, you know, it's going to be a little bit easier. You know, just trying to be real and open and honest. I was a single mom and this is what happened, and I found what I thought was a good husband seemed.
Man, see, this is shit that, man, look, man, full screen. Fuck that. Hell no, full screen. I'm mad. I'm triggered already. You see how a lot of ladies won't even say what it really is? Don't have kids before marriage if you can help it. You can't help it. How can you not help it? This is the problem that a lot of people have in society. Like, ladies, y'all got to understand that the young girls are going to listen to you first before they listen to us as men. And when you give them an out like that, don't have kids before marriage if you can help it. If you can help it is the out. How can they not help it? How can they not? It's the same thing like if I said it to young boys. Don't have kids before marriage if you can help it. Obviously you can help it. Don't have sex. And then on top of that, I understand, you know, that people gonna come around. Man, these kids gonna have sex if they want to have sex. If you're gonna have sex, use some protection. She was a fast little thing. She said 13 years old when she had her first sexual intercourse, you know, her first time with a 17-year-old boy. You don't think she knew what she was doing? People need to stop playing it off like these kids are dumb at any age. I can go all the way back when I was 13 and 12 years old. I think I'm older than this lady. I think I'm older than her. I knew what I was doing when I was doing what I was doing. She not going to sit here and play dumb. Because you know women always like to come around and say, well, women mature faster than boys. They're smarter than boys. Well, hell, if I knew what I was doing, you knew what you was doing too. If that's the narrative that you want to run with. Like, we got to stop with that. I already see how it's trying to get shaped that she had no control over what was going on. She's just a person in this world and the men are controlling it and moving her here and moving her there. Like she's just an object. That's not the case, y'all. Stop falling for people like this. These people right here need to be in a padded room. I'm just going to say that out back. She need to be in a padded room. But I'm going to let her keep going with a padded room talking points.
Like a good husband, but turned out to be just a monster.
I want to ask this because do you feel like that experience that happened at 8, obviously you had your first sexual experience at 13, you know, intentionally,
Yeah.
It sounds like, did that experience at 8 years old, do you feel like that influenced that experience at 13? Did it hypersexualize you in a way?
I'm sure it's all connected. Because I believe that women who are basically taught from a young age that their value is in what's between their legs start to internalize that. And it's unfortunate.
And I can imagine a ton of confusion going on at that time. And now you're 17 and you involved with a young man. And if I'm not mistaken, you stated this before that you intentionally had a child.
Yeah.
So when you say at 17, you intentionally decided to, you know, move forward with being a child, what exactly does that mean? And what was your mindset?
We as a couple, we kind of had this whirlwind romance. I actually met him here in Atlanta. So, on a train coming from Alexandria to Atlanta. And everything clicked, and he said, "Will you give me a son?" And I said yes. Wow. And I was pregnant almost immediately, and I love my son.
How long did you did you guys have a relationship at that point?
Oh my gosh, it was probably like a few weeks. It wasn't long. It wasn't long at all. And I still consider him a friend to this day. Like, wow. He's still a good friend.
And how old was he?
He was a few years older than me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. And
all the proof you need right there. Now remember, she's not taking any accountability for what she chose to do. It's everybody else's fault so far. But you just heard what she said. She was talking to a boy on a bus from Alexandria on her way down to Atlanta. And he said, "I want you to have my baby." And she was like, "Yes." Did somebody take advantage of her? Or was she a willing participant in what was about to happen? But look at how she's trying to paint it, y'all. She's the victim. She's whatever age type female making her own decisions like anybody else does. But when it doesn't turn out the right way, something was taking advantage of her. She was not in control of this at all, even though she made a conscious decision to do things. She said within weeks, she had a baby inside her stomach. You was already effing at 13, now you effing again, you about to have a baby, intentionally had it, not by accident. Like, come on, man.
That was your first child?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just to confirm, before you met your now husband, how many children did you have?
2.
Okay. So when did you have your second child?
I had my second child with someone I knew from high school. I had known him. He went to a different high school from me, but I forget how we met. I think at the library we met. And my mom liked him. He was nice. And I actually ended up moving back home after things didn't work out with my oldest son's father. And I actually saw him when we were working somewhere together. I had gotten a new job and he happened to be working there too. And it was just like, oh my gosh, hey, and we started a relationship and my son came about, and yeah.
So at this point, you, I'm assuming 1920, you got 2 children. And from my understanding, your sister now,
I would say, no, I was like 21 when I got pregnant, or around the time. Gotcha. I remember when I turned 21, I think I was pregnant. I couldn't even drink on my 21st birthday. So I was pregnant with my second son.
And what is your mother at this point communicating to you about men?
My mother has always told me that you need to be very careful about men in general. And I don't want to paint every man in a bad light, but there can be a predatory side that some men do not control and do not want to control, and that's the dangerous part.
And where was your father at this point in time in your life?
Nowhere around. I mean, he, I believe, threatened my mother that if she tried to even get child support from her, that he would end her and her family members.
Wow.
So he was nowhere.
Okay, so
the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Point. You got 2 young boys. And are you at this point, after your second pregnancy, are you considering dating? Are you having conversations? Kind of what direction you want to take your life? What's happening?
After things didn't work out with my second son's father, and it was that Christmas that I told you, where I was like, I really need to create a family for my children, gotcha. And just do things the right way. And I knew I wanted more children. I love my babies. I think I'll have another one in 10 years, maybe. But
that's very telling, y'all, and I'm not gonna let that pass. That's very telling. Let me come on up here. You heard the words that she just said. Say it. I'm gonna let her say it again. That's very telling.
You now at the point, you got 2 young boys, and are you at this point, after your second pregnancy, are you considering dating? Are you having conversations? Kind of what direction you want to take your life? What's happening?
After things didn't work out with my second son's father. And it was that Christmas that I told you, where I was like, I really need to create a family for my children, gotcha. And just do things the right way. And I knew I wanted more children. I love my babies. I think I'll have another one in 10 years, maybe. But
y'all hear that? She just admitted to making a conscious decision to do everything that she did. That was her admitting it right there, and people probably didn't even catch it. She said that she needed to do things the right way. So she knew that she was doing things the wrong way. She knew she was doing things the wrong way. But that didn't matter after we already on kid number 2. Right? We on kid number 2, and it was everybody else's fault that we got the kid number 2. But now that she got kid number 2, now I need to do things the right way and get married. What was the other part that she said? What was the other part that she said?
I was like, I really need to create a family for my children and, just do things the right way. And I knew I wanted more children. I love my babies. I think I'll have another one in 10 years, maybe. But
so she want to keep having babies, y'all, but she need to do it the right way now. Now, remember, y'all, this is a lady that's trying to paint herself in a light that was taken advantage of. She was over here fake crying in the very beginning, talking about she got taken advantage by a neighbor, and she thought she was going to get in trouble by telling her mom. What? How would you get in trouble for somebody doing something to you? Especially if you got this great mom that worked so hard, had degrees, worked all these different jobs, and all she wanted to do was protect you. You telling me if you told that person, you would have got in trouble? Why would you think that you would get in trouble for a person like that? These things are not adding up, y'all. They're not adding up. It sounds like somebody trying to manipulate and fake cry. Fake cry, these fake ass tears. Because y'all ain't seen one tear drop down her face yet. This is a problem. We just had the lady from the Duke lacrosse situation come out years later talking about, yeah, I lied. But she put on them tears. She put on them waterworks to get them dudes' lives messed up. Be very cautious when you hear women say things like this. I'm not saying don't believe women when they got legit accusations. But you need to vet that stuff. When I see somebody like this, I can see right through them. This is all cap. Lady, you was a thought from a baby. You was a thought from a baby. That's what it seemed like so far. And we didn't even made it that far into this video. But she seemed like a super thought that liked to get that D, didn't care about having babies, just went for what she wanted. She probably saw it from her mama. And, she's just going to keep it going. I know somebody going to come in, well, she was touched as a kid and that makes you go and do the same thing. I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. No, I'm being dead serious. I'm not trying to hear that.
Right now, that's just not on my mind at all. I have 5 beautiful babies, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of them, and they're my reason. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, you fine. I just wanted to get an idea of what kind of inspired you to get back into the dating market, which it sounds like you want to start a family.
It was that. It was that. Just wanting to find a good man that I could respect because of the type of women that were in my family, very high achievers, and just really everyone in my family has been a very high achiever, that I had a certain expectation of what a husband should look like. And also, finding certain content. I don't know if I should even talk about any of that.
Well, I think you should, because all of that influences how you think and particularly how you go about dating.
Okay.
And, right now it is still very much so a gender war. Both men and women are confused about how to date and how to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I think everything and anything that influenced you at that time is important to share.
Well, I had shared this before, that I stumbled across a very important content creator that I think everyone knows as the hypergamous queen. Her videos are shared, sprinkle videos everywhere.
I just learned about the sprinkle. I didn't know about it.
So a lot of people are new to this, but I was true to it because I was following before there was 100,000 subscribers, like me and my sisters, and
that's Shira 7.
Shira 7, yes.
And I recently checked out her page, thousands and thousands of views, and she's been doing it for a very long time.
For sure.
Yes. So I was telling every woman that I met in person, like, there's a content creator that makes really good content just about, really, it seemed like how women could take their power back is how it felt. That's how it felt at the time.
Oh, for fuck's sake, not that again.
When you went from a place of not wanting marriage at all,
mm-hmm.
and then you started to want marriage. Was she a part of the reason?
I believe that, you know what? Probably. And I hate to say that, but probably it just seemed more secure for a family. It just seemed right. It just seemed more stable, like we would be on a solid foundation. And I prayed to God about it because, you can subscribe to certain things that people talk about, but you don't have to subscribe to everything that they talk about. And I've always had a relationship with God, and Jesus is the one true Lord. And I prayed about it and asked God to send me the right man. It wasn't just about what he had. It was never about what he had. because if it was about that, I had a lot of other options with more. And it was really about how he treated my children, because he seemed to love my boys. And he said, oh, those are my boys. You know, you remind me of my mom. She was a single mom with 2 boys. And I would just love to help you and be there for you and be the man you guys need. Oh my gosh.
So you know what? I want to, before we actually get deep into the situation that took place with your husband, I think it's important to, talk about the impact. I'm actually happy you shared that, because, we had that we had a debate just the other night where that was a part of the conversation, because who you watch and learn from, that's discipleship, that's mentorship.
Oh my goodness.
That's who you are, in submission to.
Yes.
Under their leadership.
You know what? That's so true.
The thing about it is, now when you're discipling under somebody to make the most important decision in your life, this is how I choose my partner. That's the biggest decision we make. They have a lot of influence on our future and the future of our children. What do you think was the biggest takeaway from that content creator in particular that impacted you? What was the biggest takeaway, or what empowered you from her in particular, that made you feel that safety and security? Like, what was it, a particular lesson or principle that was given to you?
I think that a lot of times, like I stated before, that women are taught that their value is in what's between their legs. And she was the first person that said that it was true. And you don't have to give it away to just anybody. A man should be worth your time. He should be, taking you out. He should be investing in you. He should be making your life easier if he cares about you. And that's what I took away from it.
I think that makes sense.
I want to ask you this because, right now, hindsight, with where you are today, do you feel like that was the healthiest content to digest, or do you have any regrets in really watching that content to help guide your decision making?
So funny thing about me is I don't have regrets. I believe that God is working in perfect order, in perfect timing, and there's nothing that happens that he has not approved or seen. And unfortunately, our family, not just our family, but our family in public especially my daughters, have had to be sacrificial lambs in the result of what has happened. And
So now let's talk to me about meeting your husband now, because I can imagine after you watch this content, it's probably preparing you for the suitors that come into your life, how to vet them, how to manage them. Was he one of the early suitors?
Yes.
Was he the first one, or were there a few guys before him?
He was one of the first few, and he pursued me heavily, which I liked. I think that women like a man that pursues and says that, I want you. And
you initially met him online?
Yes, online. I'm sorry. We met online. I don't want to throw the website out there, but if people have been watching, then they know. I don't want to make the website a bad place. That's not what it's about. But we did meet online. Yes.
I get it. And you meet online. You set up a date.
Yeah.
Okay. And first date goes well.
The first date went amazing. He felt like my husband.
What about the experience with him made you feel so comfortable?
I don't know what it was. I just felt safe. I felt like he was my husband. I can't describe it. And he, even on our first date, he said, so what do you think about if we got married in 2 months? And I said, I don't know, maybe. And he spit out his water because he started choking, like he couldn't believe I said, oh, maybe.
Wow.
But it felt so natural and so right. And yeah.
How old were you at this time, by the way?
I was 23 or 24.
This is a woman that makes bad decisions, y'all. Okay, here you go. Check this. Let's do a revamp of what we've already heard so quickly. She met a boy on a bus coming from Alexandria. I don't know where that is. I guess it's another part of Georgia, maybe, to Atlanta. And he said, I wanna put a baby in you. She was like, okay. Quick on that one, had a baby within a couple weeks. You go out on a date with a man, he says, I want you to be, how would you feel about us being married? Like, okay. This lady's stupid, man. It's amazing how, if y'all are paying attention to, I hope y'all are paying attention, how fast she turns the fake crying off to talking serious, and then go back to fake crying. Yeah, it was so hard. What website y'all meet on? Oh, yeah, we met. I don't want to put that website out there, but it was so hard. Man, stop falling for that nonsense, man. People be falling for these fake tears all the time, man. I've said, Shira 7 always talks about your value being between your legs and using it as leverage bit. But you don't regret it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like Shira 7 is a terrible person. That's like somebody coming on here talking about Cynthia G. If y'all don't know who Shira 7 is, just look it up online. This girl ain't nothing. All she does is promote women to be prostitutes. YouTube, I know y'all don't like that word, but I'm going to use it because that's what it is. She promotes women to sell themselves like prostitutes. And this lady was listening to her. That's what she was doing. This is not an innocent woman right here. And honestly, this is a bunch of fake ass tears, man. Talking about my kids had to get sacrificed as some sacrificial lambs, and it's all in God's order. Nah, lady. You probably one of them people that believe you got free will. Then shut up.
Or something like that.
And what was his age?
45, 43, 45, something like that. I don't know.
So he's around 20 or so years older.
Yes, he's 20 years older.
Now, being a young woman at that time, 23, did you have any reservations about his age, or was that a concern at all, or was that just a typical right?
Okay, so I didn't get introduced to dating older men until I started watching Shira 7. She just basically said, I mean, they got
money.
Yeah, exactly. They can be a better man to you. They can provide for you in the way that you like, and your kids, and so I was like, okay. And it was a bit odd at first because I didn't initially jump right into online dating. I just, men would try to talk to me at the grocery store, and normally I just wouldn't even pay attention to older men. But I just started to be a little bit more approachable, I guess, to men of an older age. And I ended up meeting the first older man that I dated. And it was a little bit odd at first because I just wasn't used to dating an older man. But because he treated me well, it became easy. You feel like a princess,
I'm curious to, you said I started doing things to make myself more approachable to older men. Things like what makes you more approachable to an older guy?
Just like smile more, or, you can make a little more eye contact, where normally if you don't go for a certain type, you're probably not even going to turn your head. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're not even going to look in their face. But, I was like, let me keep my options open. I always was attracted to men of color, so I typically stay in that range. But let me see about dating someone a little bit older. And after I did, I was like, I could do this. It's not too bad.
That's very, very honest with you, and that makes a lot of sense. And I want to ask
she was a predator. Now they saying the men were the predators. She was a predator. She was peacocking out there to get her an older man. Don't let nobody else tell you any other way. That's what she just said. She tried to say it in a different way to make it sound more respectable and how she was innocent. She started trying to make herself more attractive to older men. She was the predator. They were just suckers falling for the trap, like a Venus flytrap out here.
Online aspect of it, was that also part of the strategy, so to speak, to be able to identify men that might be a little bit older?
It wasn't at first. Actually, one of my older sisters said, why don't you just try online dating? She was like, it's not too bad. And I never had online dated, not made any type of profile. Right. Because I was like, I don't want people that know me to see me on here, and it's kind of embarrassing. And, that just was my thought process at the time. But then she was like, no, and my oldest sister, she's gorgeous. So it's not like she doesn't have in-person options. But she was like, just try it. And so I tried it, did a paid dating app because I feel like it would be a little bit more, smaller pool of better people. Exactly. And, I was able to meet, some good guys.
So how long after that first date, did you, because obviously he threw 2 months out. What happened after that first date? Did you guys continue exclusively dating?
Not really. I mean, we kind of dealt with each other, talk, but I kind of was just talking to people. I kept my options open and just was letting people get to know me and taking things slow, not really rushing anything and not trying to get into a relationship at all. And I found that, honestly, when I started dating, older men, they wanted to rush into a relationship immediately. On the first date, they were like, I want you to be my woman. And I'm like, no, I don't even know you. And that's kind of just how I would, we need to get to know each other over a bit of time. And it turned out to be 6 months, not 2 months.
I think that is very interesting.
Y'all see how that works? Because I'm going to tell y'all something if y'all don't know this about men. Most men, if they see you, It's kind of like the booty warrior. You know, I see you, I like you, I want you. We pretty much know where you want to deal with you. And all that other stuff, we're willing to deal with. We'll figure it out along the way. But we're attracted to you and we want to talk to you. So let's go ahead and just jump into this and figure it out. A lot of these ladies want to sit back and wait because the onus is not on them. Most guys have to spend money, take you on dates, plan all this stuff, financial resources, and time. Yeah, one thing in this world you don't get back is time. Guys ain't trying to waste all that. So if you see something we like, we feel like we want to fuck with it, we just we gonna do this or what? A lot of ladies want to sit back and play the long game while she's still talking to other guys, which she admitted. She's still trying to keep her options open. She was talking to other guys. She wants this guy to sit around and keep courting her while she deals with other guys and makes her pick. That's the reason why a lot of this dating shit's messed up, y'all. That's one of the bigger reasons. Like, come on now. Are you serious about what you're doing? Because guess what? If she found out that guy was talking to another woman, how you think she would have felt about that while she's talking to all these other guys? Oh, his head would have got chewed off. How you gonna disrespect me like this? But I'm keeping my options open. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention to these things right here, man. Because a lot of these ladies, they try to tell a story, and I know if somebody that's not really keen on catching these things, they'll be like, "Oh man, she just sounded like an innocent woman that was done wrong and all this." And this lady knew everything she was doing. She was playing a game. It just didn't work out for her in the end. But we're gonna keep going though.
Because initially when you told me about the things that your husband at the time was or the guy you was dating at the time, the things that he was saying, I thought, well, that's kind of strange for him to be saying those types of things. But based on your experience, you're saying that the older men, this was regular conversation.
Yes, they wanted to take me off the market right away.
Wow.
Right away.
Okay, so at this point, 6 months goes down the line, and what is the transition from you now taking him serious? What did you see? Because I know when it comes to the assessment of deciding to be your husband, a lot of what the noise is that it was solely a financial decision that was made. What's the truth behind the decision? What did you see in him to actually make him your husband?
He was so good with my boys. He was so good with them. Even my oldest son responded to him in a way that he didn't respond to with my ex.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Attention to those little things, because I would gladly leave a man if he didn't mesh well with my kids, and I did that with the man that I was in a more serious relationship with right before we got married, because I had started, that was the man that we started looking at rings, and the relationship was moving forward, and I had moved in.
There was another gentleman that you met, and I believe you said you got caught in the girlfriend stage.
Yeah.
So could you detail what that relationship, how did you meet that guy, how did things kind of get started, and what exactly was the girlfriend stage?
We met online, and he just was very consistent. He just wanted to do anything to make my life easier. What can I do for you? What do you need? Very nice, and perfect gentleman. But he was nice to my children. All of the men were nice to my children. If I met, there's probably 3 men that met my children. All of them were nice. But with him in particular, because we started to live together and, it was a little bit more of an intimate setting, I feel like him and my oldest son clashed a little bit, because my oldest son, I kind of always let him be the little man of the house in a way. And he's very, very smart and highly intelligent child. And he, is not just going to let any man come in and think that he's the boss right away. So
you telling me, think about how dumb this sounds. You got a little ass kid, a little boy. He's the man of the house. He used to be the little man of the house. But you got a man that comes in and is going to pay for the bills, take care of the house, and be the real man. And you talking about he wasn't going to take that. So you with the shits. You with the shits. Man, this is crazy, man. This I see why a lot of these ladies have some really messed up situations when it comes to dating. Like ladies like her, not all women, but ladies like her, this type right here, I see why they have the issues they have. You think it's cute that your son is challenging the man that's actually facilitating the lifestyle that you and your children, that same son, is living. You think that's cute. Your son don't pay no fucking bills. That ain't that man's child. He only taking care of your child because he with you. But you think it's cute that he challenging this man and making it hard for this man. Amazing. I love the way this mindset thinks, man. And then people want to sit around and say, "Oh, you're being mean to people." These people are creating their own the problems that they complain about. They're creating them in their own life. She's creating these problems. That shit's not cute to have a bad son. That shit's not cute to not know to teach your children to respect elders, especially the person that's taking care of you. That's not cute. And she smiled about it when she said it. Look at her face. That's my baby right there. Man, girl, you don't get the hell up out of here with that bullshit.
There was an issue, and he said something about, can your son, stay with a relative for a little bit?
Wow.
And I said, oh, you mean can we go stay somewhere? That's what you mean. And I packed my stuff right away. My sister came and got me and all my stuff. And because it took 2 cars, I had my car and she came with her car to get my stuff. And he brought my TV and so, all the bigger things he brought. I asked him to bring it back the next day. But I left and I went back to my apartment, which I had to be out of soon. And I didn't plan to need to, do anything else because I thought the relationship was moving forward. I was his girlfriend, but, he was taking very good care of me and he seemed like a good guy. But when he said that about my son, I said, no, it's all of us. It's all of us. So I left him. And I remember that night I was in the shower and I prayed and I said, God, I just want someone that's going to love me and my children. That's what I want.
Now, I want to make sure that the audience is following us because we pretty much, I want to make sure we don't move too fast. But you have your second child, you're 21, 22, some additional time elapsed. Now you're 23 and you're on the dating market. Doing a bit of online dating when you initially meet your current husband. Yes. But things progress a bit, but not too much to where you still keep your options open.
The other guy was just more consistent. He was always there. He was always what you need, so he just was prioritized. Understood.
Now, this gentleman that you're dating, you decide at some point you want to move in with him.
Yes.
And what was the living situation? Is it he's already has a place where he occupies and then you and your 2 boys move in? Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. And how long were you dating before the relationship ends?
Things were moving pretty quickly. They're moving pretty quickly. I can't quantify a time. I can't remember exactly, but things moved pretty quickly. But he seemed like a good man and I worked from home. So I always was able to keep an eye on my children. That was part of it. I was never leaving them with him. And no, I don't care if I have boys. I know people are crazy.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And in hindsight, with you and the boys moving in with this gentleman, mm-hmm. is that something that you think the typical single mother just has to kind of, be concerned with in terms of moving their children in with, somebody that they get to know? Does marriage and commitment, or what level of commitment should be taking place before a woman does something like that?
Back then, if you would have asked me that, I would have said, if a man's going to take care of you and your kids and that's a good man, take it. But now, it's hard to even have the words. You have to be so careful. So careful. Because men are not just doing this to stepchildren, they're doing this to their own children too. And that's something that's just very scary and incomprehensible, to be honest.
I understand.
So now this situation that happens, because now you're in.
Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. This shit wild. You saw this shit?
Matter of fact, one more time.
Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. This shit wild. You saw this shit?
I just don't. I'm saying this is why stuff happens to kids, because single moms be so desperate that they keep bringing strange men around their kids, dumb bit. I agree. And here, first off, you're not the victim. Let's say, because remember, her biggest story was that her kids got touched. The kids that she shared with him, the man that she's going to slowly get into, were touched by their father. You're not the victim. Those kids are. But you're making this all about you. You're doing a media tour now by the people on YouTube to tell this story. But you sitting over here crying like you the victim. You not doing, yeah, something happened to your kids. I understand you feel a certain type of way. If that's even true, because we still ain't figured that out, y'all. Don't let me get locked in on that one, because we don't know if that's even true. But man, look, like if it is true, your kids are suffering as a consequence of the decisions you made as a grown-ass adult. That's why your kids already came from bad decisions you made. So now you're saying they suffer again from the bad decisions you made. You put your kids in an environment. You created these kids in a bad environment. And see, I've said all she doing is explaining why she a dumb bee that put her kids in danger. That's pretty much all it is. That's pretty much all it is. Like, I don't have no sympathy for somebody like this. These are the type of people I say don't need to have kids. But remember, she got 5 now. I wonder who watching her kids right now while she's doing this interview. That's a good question. Back
in your apartment, you didn't expect to be here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like now we got some financial issues taking place.
Yeah.
And so what's the solution at this point?
It was crazy because when I prayed that night, he called me the next morning and it was random. Like, I hadn't talked to him in a few weeks and, he would check in every time, but he just wasn't a priority.
Hold on. What? Hold on. What? Y'all, I hope y'all caught that. How did she lie like that fast? And I don't think they caught it. Listen to what she just said.
And so what's the solution at this point?
It was crazy because when I prayed that night, he called me the next morning and it was random. Like, I hadn't talked to him in a few weeks and, he would check in.
You left his house. Follow me, y'all. You left his house. You was in the shower. And you prayed. You prayed that night. Then he called you the next day. But y'all ain't talked in a couple weeks. What? You left his house. And you prayed that night in the shower. You prayed that night. The night you left his house. You prayed in the shower that night. And he called you the next night. And then you go straight on to saying that y'all ain't talked in a couple weeks. What? Did y'all not catch that? Did anybody not catch that? Am I the only one that caught that? Lady, are you lying? Are you lying? Are you lying? Are you lying?
I mean, you didn't expect to be here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like now we got some financial issues taking place.
Yeah.
And so what's the solution at this point?
It was crazy because when I prayed that night, he called me the next morning and it was random. Like, I hadn't talked to him in a few weeks and, he would check in every time, but he just wasn't a priority. But
is he talking about another time or something? Is she talking about another time or something? Because I thought we was on the topic of when you left that night. Okay, maybe we might be on another time. I don't know. But I don't think we on another time. I think she's talking about that time.
He said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, just getting out of a relationship and, it didn't work out. Him and my oldest son didn't mesh well. And he said, well, I love your boys.
Oh, she talking about another nigga. So she was over here trying to get courted by 2 different dudes. Okay, I get what's going on now. She was out there being a hoe.
They're good boys. I mean, they're, and the way my sons responded to him when the 2 times that they had met him was very good. Was very good. And he seemed like a good guy. I mean, his parents own their own church, and he seemed to have all the values and all the right things and said all the right things. And I was like, this is the only man that I feel like I've really been able to connect with God with. And that was something that was really powerful to me because I feel like that was missing in, any other relationships that I entertained is I didn't feel like we had a strong faith bond. And when you meet certain people and you just know that you can just talk about the Lord, it's okay just to talk about the Lord and how good God is and just, and I had that with him. And that was definitely a part of the choosing. I prayed and I said, God, please give me a sign if this is right. And I feel like God gave me all the green lights. I feel like he did. And I still feel like he did. And I just didn't know that God wanted to use us. But that's just what ended up happening.
Do you feel like what he told you or that love that he said he had, do you feel like that was genuine love or was that predatory?
I'm unsure because he didn't touch my boys. He did not. He did not. They've been interviewed. I asked them as soon as my daughter told me, and I always ask them, even before my daughter said that, because he's not their father. And I'll never trust a man 100% with my kids. I was always looking at him, even him changing.
How did she go from tears to that type of tone that quick? Check this, y'all. Check how she went so quickly. Like, it just changed so fast, man. It's amazing how the wind blows and how emotions catch you, you know? You went from crying to talking real serious now.
God wanted to use us, but that's just what ended up happening.
Do you feel like what he told you, or that love that he said he had, do you feel like that was genuine love, or was that predatory?
I'm unsure because he didn't touch my boys. He did not. He did not. They've been interviewed. I asked them as soon as my daughter told me, and I always ask them, even before my daughter said that, because he's not their father. And I'll never trust a man 100% with my kids. I was always looking at him, even him changing our daughter's diapers. He would even say, oh, you know, I don't feel comfortable changing them because they're girls. Why don't you change them? Played the role so perfectly. He knew everything to say, but I almost wonder, did he want...
Where did all them tears and you know, like that victim shit go? Where did all that go? She talking real hard now.
Because they're girls. Why don't you change them? Played the role so perfectly. He knew everything to say, but I almost wonder, did he want children? Because he really wanted children. That was a condition of our marriage. It was a condition.
What do you mean a condition? That's something like he wrote it down, or
no? That's what he said. He said, you know, when we started talking about the marriage, and he said, you know, I just really want to have kids. You know, I haven't had any kids yet, and he's an older man, and I thought it was odd that he hadn't had any kids yet. But he said, you know, God just hasn't blessed me with kids yet, and I really, you know, want to have kids of my own. And I said, I'm willing to do that. I mean, if you're my husband, okay. And I wonder, was he trying to? Did he have intentions?
Back to crying. Because crying again.
Someone close to me said that sometimes predators like to grow their own prey, and that's a really sad thing. But there's stories of it.
Now I want to go back just a bit because you have just moved out with your two sons back into your apartment, and now you're entertaining conversation, potentially dating again with your husband. How long after you move into your apartment do you accept his invitation to now move in?
Within days.
Okay.
Within days. I mean, it was, I think that first conversation, like one of the first few conversations he was like, well, I told him what I was going through. And I said, you know, I just need a place to stay for a little bit just to figure it out. And he said, well, if you come here, you're going to be my wife. And that was sexy to me. I was like, okay.
And I can imagine that because you in emotional turmoil at that time. Finances is just tricky just because you run into a bunch of unexpected things.
And he seemed like a good guy. Yeah. He did. If I thought he was a crazy man, I would have never entertained the idea.
How old were your boys at the time?
5 and 2.
5 and 2?
Yeah.
The 5-year-old, and see, I know it had to be a lot for the young boys too, because, you know, they just were introduced to this other brother here.
Yeah.
And now they got to see this new guy. Did the 5-year, did he express any concern, or he just kind of going with the flow 5 years old?
Honestly, we got married a week after that we started talking about the marriage, and at the wedding he said, can I call you dad now?
Wow.
And he said, oh my gosh, yes, that means so much to me.
And was his own father in his life?
Not like that.
Not really?
Not like that.
I get it. So he was excited to actually have somebody to call dad and a family.
I thought it was one of the happiest days of our lives.
And that's from the time you moved in to the time you guys got married. How long was that?
From the time we got married and moved in?
Well, from the time you moved into his place?
I didn't live with him before we got married.
Oh, wow. So
No.
Better question. From the time from that phone call you guys had to marriage, how long was that?
1 week. It was a week.
Okay.
It was a week. And I didn't live there until the day after. I remember moving my stuff in the day before we were getting married, and I didn't sleep there. I went to the hotel that he booked for me and my sister. It's a very nice suite. We had a beautiful wedding reception. I mean, he threw it together so cool. He was just like, here, just do what you want to do. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Do you feel like if you had enough money in your bank account to comfortably pay rent and other things, would you have made that decision?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
Probably, yes.
Because I know sometimes, when money's tight, finances just have a lot to do with our decisions.
But I was making good money. And that's why I said I only needed like a little bit of time to stay. Even if I was to stay with a family member, I mean, it just would have been a little bit because I was making good money working for my family. So I knew I would have been able to find something. I just hadn't had to plan to move so quickly.
Yeah.
And I moved my stuff in, went to the hotel. And the day after we got married, we went home.
Wow. Man, look. If you was making good money, you could just paid your rent. Anybody think about that? If you was making good money working for your family, you could just paid your rent. Was there something that like your lease was up and they was like, we're not renewing this or something like that was going on? Like, come on, man. Like this is not making sense, man. And I'm listening to her, man. I'm listening to her. I'm trying not to get caught up in, the emotional part that she's trying to garner people on. I'm listening to you to try to see the logic in what's going on right now. And this ain't really making sense to me. You got married to a dude within a week. You took your kids out of one man's house and put them in another man's house within a week almost, pretty much. Let's say less than a month. You talking about your son called him daddy. Can I call you daddy? Man, I'm pretty sure you put that boy up to doing some shit like that. Why would he do that when he was at the other man's neck? You were so happy about that earlier. He was at the other man's neck. So magically a new man come in and he just, can I call you daddy? After being a devil child of somebody else. Man, come on, man. This ain't making no sense. But look, they letting her talk. They just asking the questions. I be sitting here interrogating her ass. Like, I don't know what the hell you got going on, baby. And I know they flew her out there. They paid for all the expenses and all that for her to be there to get this conversation. But I'm like, man, come on, man. Interrogate this motherfucker.
And at that point, when you agreed to the marriage, if you could, give it on a scale to 1 to 10, how eager and excited were you to get married, and not to just get married to this particular gentleman, but just get married in general?
I was over the moon. I thought it was my fairy tale. It seemed almost too good to be true. I just kept praising God, how good God was, that this happened for me and my children, and we were finally a family, I thought.
And at this time, when you decide to make the decision and you go about, informing your family, how did they receive that information?
They were shocked. I actually made my husband come ask my ex-husband. I made him come ask.
Hold on. What the fuck she just say?
My children, and we were finally a family.
Listen to what she just said.
And at this time, when you decide to make the decision and you go about, informing your family, how did they receive that information?
They were shocked. I actually made my husband come ask my ex-husband. I made him come.
You made him what? Your ex? Huh? What? Huh? What? Let's see how she clarifies this.
Ask my mother for my hand. That was a requirement for me to marry him.
Y'all. She was about to tell on herself. She was about to tell on herself about something suspicious. I'm putting it like that, suspicious.
And at this time, when you decide to make the decision and you go about, informing your family, how did they receive that information?
They were shocked. I actually made my husband come ask my ex-husband. I made him come ask my mother for my hand.
Wow.
That was a requirement for me to marry him to me. And he did so, and he was very respectful and just said, I'll take wonderful care of your daughter. She'll never have to worry. And her sons, they're mine now. And he said all the right things. And my family was there when we got married. I mean, I think they were like a little hesitant because of how quickly. But he seemed like he really loved me.
A bunch of women.
Was that the first time that you ever had a man to not only profess his love for you, but to also profess his love for your two boys at that time?
I would say that men always would try to be nice and, just because, but I felt like they wanted me. I'm going to be nice because I want her, not because it was genuine. I could tell he really wanted to be a dad.
Wow.
He really wanted to be a dad. And it just showed. And everyone was so excited. He bought them all new toys. picked out what beds do you want for them? Do you want to do their room? Whatever you want.
Also, he was very serious about getting
everything. That man at action. That is something women respect.
When was the point that you started seeing some signs that things might not have been right with him?
Honestly, early on, not even a month, some girl, his ex, showing up at the doorstep, and she was like, well, he was supposed to be with me because we got married so fast, so you know, I guess she was maybe hanging around, or I don't know. And she looked very, very, very young, but she was of legal age. I think she was 21, a few years younger than me, but she looked like a child.
Wow. So that was pretty much his type for the most part.
I told him, how can you be attracted to her? Because she doesn't have a body or anything. She looks so young. And he was just like, I mean, he wouldn't really say much. But I'm like, well, I guess she is an adult. It's not illegal. I guess it's not weird. But to me, it's odd. Age? Well, yeah, she told me how old she was. She just came. We talked for a little bit, and it was, yeah.
I mean, she shows up at the house.
He wasn't there. She was sitting on the step when I pulled up at home.
That was the first red flag. Okay. And then did it get progressively worse, or did it get better after that?
He was very controlling very early on. I remember actually the day we got married, I started seeing how insecure he was. He always thought I was looking at other men, like just imagining it seemed. Or maybe not even imagining it, maybe just trying to scare me into not ever thinking about doing it. I don't know.
And this is a man who has already expressed that he wants to grow a family. He wants to have children outside of the 2 young boys you already have.
Yes.
How would you describe your sexual relationship
with him?
Correct.
Vanilla, normal. Seemed like a normal guy. He wasn't.
So nothing.
No, he just, like, I never would think that this man would do this stuff. He hid it so well. Even, if I saw him watching adult videos, it was grown women that looked like me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're thinking about me. That's okay. Nothing like that. Not at all. He already knows I don't play that because he knew,
And was there any level of aggression or anything that ever became violent towards yourself? Like, did he ever have any of that energy towards you?
He never put his hands on me like that. No, he never put his hands on me. He was not physically abusive to me, but he was sexually abusive. I guess that is physically abusive.
Okay.
But when he first, what people have to understand is marital, I don't even know how to say it, marital R word is never talked about. And it's a real thing. And I think I read it didn't even become illegal until 1970 something. So you have to think he may have grown up. This is a normal part of life. You own your wife. And he would use scripture to manipulate me. Your body is not your own. It belongs to your husband. And, that type of stuff too. And he would gaslight me. And I would be crying. Like, first it starts off, you think, oh, he's just trying to have sex and I just don't want to. And it's like, I'm telling him no. And, you think he's playing at first. And it's like, no, I'm serious. And then it gets to the point where you're like, he's not stopping. And I'm like fighting him and crying like, no. And it happened 4 times. But I remember the last time something in me said, don't fight and don't cry. Just lay there. He couldn't even finish. He just got off of me and just said, we're getting a divorce. And I realized that he was just attracted to the sadistic part of it.
Hold on, wait. So you used to fight him and cry, and you felt like that was what turned him on? Because...
It was for sure. Because the last time it happened, when I just laid there, like I just had to be very quiet. Like I just knew just to lay there like a dead fish, basically. And he just couldn't even finish.
Did you ever think to, file a criminal report when that was happening, or did you just not want to do that because I was your husband?
It didn't even, it's hard. There was so much gaslighting. He'd finish and then be like, babe, why are you crying? I thought you wanted it. And hold you and rub you and I love you so much. The next day, you and the kids everybody's getting new clothes and, and you're thinking, well, my husband is a good guy. He's not, and I am his wife. I mean, my body does belong to him, and it says in the Bible. So what am I complaining about? But the last time, he never did it again because he knew that I knew that what it was about.
So, by the way,
man, look, man, I don't know this guy. And maybe he could be a terrible guy. Maybe he could be a terrible piece of shit that don't deserve to be breathing no more on this earth. But something about this just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's because I'm a man. That probably could be it. Because I'm a guy. But if somebody's doing something to me that I don't feel is right, I'm not gonna sit there and take it. And if I don't have the ability to defend myself, which I haven't been in those type of situations, but if I'm ever in that type of situation, I would think that I would call 911. I think that I would do that. But then let's take it to a whole nother step, because I want to get that out the way first. This man is married to you. What would be the reason that you would deny your husband sex? Especially after you all have been, like, y'all recently married and stuff. Like, I don't know the time period. I'm trying to figure that out. What's the time period of how long y'all been married? But why would you deny your husband? I'm trying to figure that out, because I'm like, look, regardless of what a lot of ladies want to say, there's a narrative that's put out there that once a guy and a woman have been married for like maybe like 5-10 years, you know, dude got to beg for sex. So I'm wondering what's going on. This guy could be an evil dude. He could be an evil dude, but I don't know. I'm trying to get both sides of this shit, because it seems like she's living this life. And nothing's wrong with how she's living. She's just living this life. And all these bad things just keep seeming to happen to her, man. Just out of nowhere, man. Nothing good keeps happening. She's doing everything she's supposed to do. Taking care of her kids, you know, putting them in front of all these different men, you know, moving them in with one guy, taking them out, and then moving them in with another man, you know, having kids with dudes on the bus stuff. She's just living the right way. And all these bad things just keep seeming to happen to her. I don't know what to say about this. Like, do you want to be the victim in this story? Because that's what it seems like. It's got Uncanny in here said she destroyed her whole character if this isn't true. And we gotta wait to find out. I was waiting for an update, and I saw she did a video. I was like, yep, gotta get on this one. Get on this one. I wasn't even planning on doing the show tonight. See, Op in the building said, if a female says she the victim in all her relationships, it's usually because she's the real problem. I will agree with that comment, and I will actually start that one for a comment of the night. I will actually start that one. And shout out to Bean. Bean, I see you watching over there on fucking Facebook. That's what's up, man. We're gonna keep grinding on y'all, because look, man, this victim mentality, look, she could be telling the truth. I will put the caveat in there. She could be telling the truth. I'm gonna just tell you straight up, I don't believe her. I just don't. I don't believe her. But, you know, let's continue.
Wait, were you his first wife?
I didn't even realize how many times that man had been married before I married him. I'm his fourth wife.
Wow.
Did you know that before marriage?
No, his mom slipped up and told me.
She knew she wasn't supposed to tell you that?
I don't know. He had told me he was married 2 other times, but he said that the women cheated on him and whatever.
Did you find that out to be true? Did you ever speak to his ex-wives?
I spoke to one ex-wife, but she was so reluctant to even talk to me. I don't even know what he put her through, because she was just like, when you called me, it took me back to a bad place. And I was like, oh, she didn't share much.
Now, amidst the abuse, you are still together. You're still growing a family.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are, if I'm not mistaken, 3 daughters in.
Well, I got pregnant with our first daughter 4 months into the marriage. We had been trying to conceive from the time that we got engaged. The time he put the ring on my finger, it was, all right, you know. We knew we were getting married. So he was so excited. He was so excited.
You know, what I'm curious about is in this, it just seems, I mean, this is a lot. It's a lot. I can imagine. Were you happy in your marriage at all?
I was. There was good and bad, but
I got to stop for a second. I just thought about something. So this man was married 4 times prior to being married to her. He had no kids. All right. And you said that you tried to get in contact, or no, yeah, honestly, I think she tried to get in contact with one of his ex-wives after his mother said that he was married 4 times when he only told you he was married twice. It's kind of hard to. I can't 100% get behind that. This man was married 4 times and he didn't have a kid with any of his previous wives. 4 times. And with the lady not going into detail with you, which is kind of weird. Like, you know, I was married to this guy and now I got this random girl hit me up saying that I'm married to him too. Can you tell me about him? Like, that's kind of weird. But I guess that's the sister code supposed to be working. So when this lady didn't say nothing to you, you took that as, you know, whatever the fuck. I'm not sure if that makes him automatically de facto the problem. I'm not sure if that's enough evidence to make him the problem. Like I don't think that's enough. I truly don't think that's enough. Now it could be an indicator of anything, but I don't know if that de facto makes him the problem because he was married 4 times before. Because if you look at U.S. statistics about who files for divorce, it's usually the women. But I know a lot of ladies will say, "Well, what are they filing for divorce for?" You tell me. Why ain't you with your other 2 baby daddies? Is it always going to be that it's just the men, or you know? I'm gonna just keep grinding, man. This is crazy, man. This story don't even make no sense. Only a woman could do this type of shit. See, I've said this is what happens when you marry a stranger in 1 week. Surprise, bitch. And Kenny said he realized he can't make a woman love him no matter what you do. So he left, and she probably wants to destroy him for moving on. Oh, Uncanny, yes, he actually did file for divorce from her, which is crazy. So, you know, you see what Remy Ma doing with Pat Poose right now. That Pat Poose decided he wanted to deal with Clarissa Shields. It was all good and gravy when he was trying to get back with her and, you know, suck her ass and shit. But as soon as he decided he didn't want to be with her no more, you know, now the whole world got to burn. But either way, though, let's keep going.
We had a good friendship. Like, and that, I think that was, you know, one of the main things. We love to watch movies together and spend time together. And we love to, you know, do things with the family. And I thought we had a good life together. And it's not like we were not intimate. Like, we were always intimate. We had a normal marriage for the most part, other than him being controlling, very, very controlling. But to me, it was easy to comply because he gave us the world.
How long were you guys married?
For 5 years.
Okay. And so when did you actually get into, you know, because I think as a whole, me and Ryan, we have this, I know starting a YouTube channel is a whole nother situation. Because was that your full-time business as a wife? Like, was that what you were doing full-time? Or did you have a job and your YouTube channel?
I stopped working shortly after we got married.
Okay, so you a housewife at this point.
Yeah, he paid all the bills. If I made any money from YouTube, I could get things for the kids, you know, that's a lot of stuff I like to buy. But yeah, and he provided everything else. I mean, he didn't ask me for anything, and he was an amazing provider. Anything I wanted, he gave me.
You know, I want to address this too, because I think it's important, because you've touched the lives of a lot of ladies. And I'm just curious to know, because again, coming today, who you are, even me and myself and Ryan, you know, when life puts you through things, who you are now, 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, it changes.
Yeah.
Would you say that with your now today mind and who you've grown into and become and how you've seen life play out, is the advice that you gave to women, would you say that was still sound for the most advice that you would stand on to this day? Or do you think that's
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you have kids, I honestly think that it's more safe to just try to have a relationship completely outside of your kids, if you can. And that might look like you guys living in 2 different places, but and this is maybe just be my trauma speaking.
Well, were you saying that if you're married to someone,
it ain't your goddamn trauma speaking? You shouldn't be bringing your kids around people. First off, you shouldn't be marrying people within a week. That's number one. Like I don't think that's like some Nostradamus type shit to say. I don't think you should be marrying somebody within a week. Some Kim Kardashian bullshit. You say you got it from Shira 7, you probably got it from Kim. But obviously you should not bring your kids around men. And men, you shouldn't bring your kids around women when you originally meet them. That's not rocket science. That's not rocket science. But no, the funny thing is, you should be dating people that got kids. That's what you should be doing, messing with all the people that ain't got no kids.
And you already have kids. You're saying that women should probably keep their kids 100%.
I'm saying more so if they're dating. You know, when it gets into marriage, that's different. But like dating and living with men and doing that, like you should just not. And I was lucky that I worked from home. But can you imagine, you know, if I, you know, there's probably so many men just like, wait till she goes to work. And it's just sad.
Man.
I think what makes, you know, your story even more polarizing as it already is, with you, you know, recalling these events, is the content that you were putting out online, the self, you know, proclamation of being a trophy wife. I think that's what has a lot of people, you know, stirred up all over the world at this point, because millions of people have seen the video. Well,
when I created my platform, I wanted to redefine the term trophy wife into a woman that is the Proverbs 31 woman, which is my favorite verse in the Bible, and I believe that every woman should aspire to be. It's not just about how pretty you are. It's about, are you, you know, being a good mom? What are your values? Are you choosing a man of values? You know, and I thought that I was talking about the right thing. And, you know, I don't think it's bad for a woman to want a successful man. I'm never going to say that a woman should just not care at all, you know, how a man shows up, because the success is honestly a manifestation of different attributes within the man. It's just a manifestation of being hard worker, persistent, you know, faithful, all the things that success is a fruit of. So I still stand by that, but
that lets you know this bitch, like, look, she just like a lot of these other women out here that don't know how to pick a good man. You don't say, oh, because he makes a lot of money, he's a good guy. You know, that means he has certain characteristics. Anybody can make money, man. Anybody can make money. A lot of us could make all the money in the world if we wanted to make it, if we decided to sacrifice a lot of other things. And a lot of people are not willing to sacrifice their time and their mind if you have the skill set. Now, remember, y'all got to have a skill set to be able to do certain things and make money. But just somebody having money is not an indicator that there's some great guy or some great woman. Some of the people that, honestly, I'll say majority of the people that have a lot of money are terrible fucking people. People that have a lot of money, you start to develop a complex. You ever notice when you got a better job and you feel like you better than the motherfuckers that was around you that don't have a job? You kind of look at them like, man, get your ass up and work. Yeah, motherfuckers, when you get higher, you look down. So I wouldn't use somebody having money as an indicator of them being a great person. I wouldn't use that at all. Sometimes some of the greatest people are some of the people that's living on the side of the street, because they figured out, man, this shit's some bullshit.
When it comes to dating as a single mom, luckily he didn't prey on his stepchildren, but what if he did?
You know what I want to do here? You know, it's a blessing to say this, but Dr. Spirit actually did show up here backstage today. So one of the greatest, most world-renowned therapists is actually backstage to join us in this conversation.
3,300 people in the chat. The chat is going bananas right now. Dr. Spirit, thank you for joining us. Where's she at?
Absolutely.
Hey.
Ken Blano.
Hey,
Dr.
guys.
Spirit, what's up with you, Dr. Spirit? Everybody welcome.
Hey.
Drop a Dr. Spirit in the chat real quick.
I like that. Dr. Spirit got that set too. That's looking nice back there.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm working late at the office, so I couldn't come into the studio, but they told me that you needed me, so I'm here.
Oh, listen, Dr. Spirit, the fact I already know you one of the busiest therapists in the world. All right. So I am absolutely blessed.
It's a long day.
I know every day is probably a long day, but we have Isis Morales here, who has, you know, one of the most viral stories and testimonies right now on the internet, who came in here to join us.
Okay.
I know you like to come in absolutely blank, because Dr. Spirit said, I don't want to know anything. I want to come in with a blank slate. I just want to come in and meet the young lady and talk to her. And the purpose, by the way, because I want you to be able to do what you do with Isis, because this situation is not unique, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I would like you to give her the best counsel that you could, and also just in general, any other ladies that might be in a situation, how they can move forward and advance, who might have experienced something similar. But in general, Dr. Spirit, I would like you to go ahead and take it from here.
Don't like the way that he said that. Know why? I know a lot of people like, oh, here you go. Why you don't like the way that he said that? Because he's automatically assuming that she is a victim in this situation. That's why I don't like it. You're coming in already biased. Listen to what she has to say. Don't shape a narrative so somebody already has to come in believing, okay, well, this person got harmed. That's what you're telling me. This person got harmed, okay. So I'm automatically looking at them that way. You need to come, man. We gotta stop doing that shit, y'all. We gotta stop doing it. We have to, man. We have to stop doing it. We can't just keep taking people at their word when they say something. Especially when they accusing other people of things. There's other people out here that can be harmed from that shit. I said it earlier. The Duke lacrosse chick, the stripper, just came out years later talking about, yeah, I lied. But everybody took that bitch at her word. And she ruined those dudes' lives. A coach got fired. A whole lacrosse team season got canceled. The University of North Carolina, I think it was Duke, right? The Duke lacrosse, yeah. They had to pay all this money to this girl. This shit was national news, all off of a lie, because somebody came in and said, she said this happened to her, and then, these are the guys that did it. Like, look, stop doing that shit. We so quick in society to goddamn demonize a man real quick in a situation where a woman comes out and says that he did something. We need to stop doing that shit. Until you see something, man, look, stop. Everybody want to be innocent when it comes to them being on the back end of this shit. They want to be innocent until they proven guilty. But when we treat everybody else, it's like, yep, guilty. The same thing they doing with Diddy. People always ask me, why you ain't cover the Diddy video? Because I don't know what the fuck. That's why I waited when it was a Johnny Depp situation. I'm gonna wait. I'm not finna condemn nobody right off bat. I'm gonna give my opinion on different stuff, but I'm not gonna say they're guilty. I think this bitch lying. Straight up. But she could be telling the truth. I'm just watching her body language. But nah, man, don't shape it like that and hand it off to a therapist. Because I already know this therapist she gonna come in. Sister. Shout out to Cortez, man. He said, what up, y'all? This bitch lying. Real quick with it. Uncanny said, it was Duke and the lawyer was the reason who also helped destroy those 3 kids' lives. Yeah, man, this is bullshit, man. Look, man, if she telling the truth, by all means, I got you, boo-boo. There's a lot of inconsistencies with what you're saying. I don't believe you because I'm looking at your body language, but if you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. But guess what? You ain't the one that's going to be on trial. He the one that's going to be on trial. And I truly, honestly believe that we need to start charging people. And I know a lot of men will get behind this. We need to start charging people that make false accusations on other people. Because they made this accusation to ruin their career, ruin their lifestyle, take them down, fuck them up. Financially and mentally, whatever the hell else you want to say. We need to start charging them people too and get them the same results. But we'll find out. But let's see. Since he shaped that narrative to the therapist, let's see what the therapist got to say. I bet it's gonna be some sister shit.
Well, one of the things that I really want to ask, and I feel bad that I'm just jumping in because I'm sure you probably already shared this story with the audience, but what is it that you need from me tonight? How can I help you? I'm not familiar with your story. I'm not familiar with the viral moment. I'm not familiar with anything. And I'm meeting you for the first time where you are. And so as you think about where you are and what it is that you're going through in your life right now, how can somebody who does the work that I do, how can I serve you tonight?
That bitch didn't come on here asking for no help. Hope? I'm sorry. She didn't come on here asking for no help. She came on here to do an interview. Just throwing it out there right now. So I guess she's trying to make herself seem important, y'all. Matter of fact, let me come on full circle. She trying, this therapist, this some bullshit already. Lady, why would you come in and say it like that? She didn't ask for your help. At least not that we know of. Seemed like she was here to do an interview with these guys and they brought you up. But, whatever.
I think that, I don't think my therapist has definitely told me that I have post-traumatic stress disorder from these events. And I've kind of taken on a shape or this feeling of I just never think that I can trust a man again because of, if my own children's father, their biological father, the man that, made them, would do this, then who can I trust? And I told a woman this the other day, and she said, that spirit that's been following you and your family, that generational curse, that spirit that's in charge of that generational curse, it doesn't want you to be married. And it hit home so much to me. And how do I heal? How do I heal?
Well, tell me, how have you decided that because I was in a relationship with one man who did unthinkable, unspeakable things to me, how have you decided that he is a representation of all men? And that somehow that now means that you could never trust another man when you're even sitting with two men being trustworthy tonight, sharing your story, and all the other people who are supporting you in the chat tonight. Tell me about this idea of I can never trust an entire gender ever again.
It's not about that I believe I can't. It's that I just don't know if I can take the chance. That's it. I just feel like I can't take the chance.
How is that different? It's not that I can't. I just can't take the chance. So that says then it's not that I don't trust all men. It's that you don't trust yourself at this point.
Exactly. Because my husband appeared to be such a good dad. And I mean, I just would have never, ever, ever expected him to do this. So it may be my own judgment. It may be my own trauma. And I just feel maybe I don't trust myself to ever be with a man again. And people talk about hypervigilance, and I was always a hypervigilant mom. He knew that he had to be the sneakiest of sneaky because I was always watching. So to me, how can I even rationalize what has happened to even think about ever wanting to move on again?
So when you say, I don't trust myself or my judgment ever again, what is it that you're not trusting not to happen?
I'm just scared. I'm just scared. That's all. I'm just scared.
Scared that what?
Someone could appear to be someone that they're not.
And what would happen if that's the case?
Lives could be ruined.
When you say, I'm just scared that lives can be ruined, what is the story that you are telling yourself that causes you to then conclude as a choice, I'll simply never trust again? You're giving these little snapshots, but you're not telling the whole story. I'm curious about this story.
I think I keep blaming myself and saying, how could I have missed this? How could I have missed this? How could I have missed this? I keep it repeats over and over. How could I have missed this? And it's just a very scary thought that I just don't want to have to ever have again in any other situation.
So when you ask yourself the question, how could I have missed this? Is the fear that as I go forward, I will miss things again?
I just am not interested in wanting to find out.
Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. This shit wild. You saw this shit, man?
Unfortunately, and I know with my therapist, she said it's going to take time to heal, and I need you to understand that all men are not predators, and this is just your PTSD speaking right now. So you guys are seeing me real and raw, unhealed completely. We're all still healing. We're all in therapy, family therapy, individual therapy. We're doing all the things, but this is just me right now. This is my truth right now today, and I'm just here sharing it.
And my heart goes out to you and the family. I think that you're doing all of the right things, and it may take a very long time. And I want you to know that healing does not mean that you will ever forget. But the thing that becomes important is that as you are moving forward in your healing, that you don't tell yourself a story that stops you from finding that healing that goes along with this. Because right now, because one person that you were married to did heinous things, now you will block yourself in that space. But you're not telling yourself, I'll never have friends again.
Yeah.
You're not telling yourself that we'll never play with cousins.
First off, we don't even know if what she's saying is true. So let's not even go in with that narrative, man. But continue, Miss Therapist, right? You supposed to give people therapy and shit? We don't even know if it's true. But, we automatically just going to assume because she said it, right?
Again. You're not telling yourself that I don't have to worry about anybody else anywhere in the world. You have decided that one man who sat in the place of a spouse is somehow in a position that now makes you decide that only a spouse is who I need to be careful of. Only a spouse is who I need to be watchful for. And what I want you to understand is it wasn't about the role that he played, it was about the man that he was. And so as you are in your healing journey, what I want you to be able to learn is about how do you protect yourself and your children and your community from predators.
Well,
not every man is a predator. Not every woman is a predator.
I do understand, and that has been a part of my healing journey, is reading different books. I ordered Father-Daughter Incest by Judith Lewis Herman, I believe is her name. How to Keep Kids Safe. I forget the author, but I'm trying to figure out how I can use my platform to help women never have to go through something like this. And I recommend that, honestly, women need to have surveillance in general on their children. And like I said, I don't know if that's just my PTSD speaking, but we just have to be very watchful because there are predators and they always look like the good guy most of the time.
Rich, see, now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad.
That ain't right. That ain't right. It ain't right.
I'm mad because that ain't right. You supposed to always be watching your kids no matter what. It don't take no traumatic. This let me know she a terrible mother. First off, you had kids. You was having sex at 13 years old with a 17-year-old boy. And you didn't say that he took the cookie from you. You didn't say that. You had another kid with a dude you met on a bus. You had another kid with a dude that knew the dude that you was working with. Another dude. But you're having kids out of nowhere. You're making a lot of bad decisions in the world talking about you need to watch your kids. You said you was touched. You said your mama was touched. You said your grandma was touched. But you didn't have your eyes on your kids. But then you turn around and say that you had your eyes on your kids, but he was just really sneaky and he didn't see it. I don't know what to believe from this lady. She is contradicting herself too damn much. Too much. You know what the funny thing is? When you find out how old her daughters are, you'll be highly upset. Well, at least I would be as a father. That you would bring all this shit to the internet, to social media, because these kids are so young that they might not remember this stuff. They might not be scarred from it. But with you running to the internet, they're going to constantly see this shit for the rest of their damn life. They will never be able to get past it because you want to get some money. Because that's what this is about. You want to get some money from coming on these podcasts, doing these different live streams. This lady had over 1 million something views off of that video. I married a monster shit. And now she just on a roll now. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Let me ride this money train. Because everybody loves to see a good-looking woman shedding tears. Everybody want to see that. Everybody can sympathize with that. The problem is we don't know if she's telling the truth yet. This man ain't in jail. It's not that, y'all. This man is not in jail. This shit crazy, man. This shit crazy as hell. See, Cortez said, always look like the good guy. Always look like the good guy sometimes. That's a contradiction. And then, yeah, now all of them gonna get it. The bad guys get it and the good guys get it. Yeah, that is a contradiction. He also said, this woman has an evil soul. Girls who sleep around at 13 are all mentally unstable like her. Look, I ain't gonna hold you on that one. Like, I'm gonna be dead serious. And this therapist, I don't know what kind of therapist she is. Like, I all the shit she's saying out in the blue, I'm like, lady, you ain't got no backstory on this first? I don't know what the fuck they paying her for.
Well, and when we talk about predators, what I want people to understand is that predators are not just men. Unfortunately, women can commit these kinds of acts as well.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to exclude that.
No. So right now, what I want to do is just kind of educate the audience. You are going through some excellent therapy, so you are finding the healing that you need. And what is important is that we learn as a community how to become stewards and protectors of our children. The reality is that 1 in 4 girls and an estimated 1 in 7 boys will deal with sexual molestation before the age of 18. So the numbers are staggering. The number of people who are in this chat tonight who have experienced some form of sexual abuse before they were 18 years old is staggering. And that means so many people have not been treated for the post-traumatic stress disorder, for the depression, for the anxiety, and all of the other issues that come as a result of child sexual abuse.
Yes.
And when we talk about this, we also have to recognize, as you are hearing this story tonight, that it's not about Chester, the child molester. It's not about the strange van or the stranger in the neighborhood. 90% of victims know their abusers, and they are family members, they are friends, they are individuals who are stewards of children. And until we become very educated about what it means for predators to seek out and get access to their prey, and what makes people have the potential to be victims, we will not know how to adequately protect our children nor ourselves. And that is the takeaway that I really want everybody to understand tonight.
Thank you.
There you have it. Dr. Spirit, I appreciate you for coming up here in such absolute short notice.
Yes.
And you know, just talking, you know, to our sister here, because I mean, this is a touchy situation. I wanted, you know, obviously, you know, we asking questions, and we're getting her story, her testimony, but I wanted somebody to be able to give us some insight. You know, especially, I mean, it's babies involved, you know, in the situation, families involved. In fact, the world is involved, you know, at this point.
Well, and I want to know if you all have questions. One of the populations that I have worked with over the years have been convicted sex offenders. And so I have had an inside understanding in the minds of individuals who have behaved in such ways. And I'm curious whether it is this young lady that you guys are speaking with tonight, or if it's members in your chat who may have had questions about how do they protect themselves, how do they protect their communities, what is it that people need to know in order for us to not only heal each other, but in order to make sure that there are no more victims among those that we love.
Yes, please share with us any knowledge that you have is helpful, not only to myself, but to everyone.
And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to...
Hey, look, what we're going to do real quick, like, is I'm going to show y'all something, because Cortez put it up here. He said, no, 1 in 4 girls stopped with the fake stats. Say that number is a damn lie. Now, I know some people in the chat might be like, man, Cortez don't know what he's talking about. Well, guess what? That number is a goddamn lie. That's a lie. She's saying 25% of girls, 25% of young girls are touched. Well, let's look at the real numbers. 1 in 9 and 1 in 20 boys under the age of 18 experience that situation. You want me to blow it up for y'all a little bit more? Since this therapist wants to put these numbers in somebody's head. Now, they say 82% of all victims under 18 are females. So women are constantly, well, younger girls, if somebody get touched, majority of the time it's probably going to be a girl. But she probably got it from this one right here. Females ages 16, 19 are 4 times more likely than the general population be victims of that word, and that word, and that word. It's not 1 in 4. It's not. Stop trying to demonize, because she even tried, that's the craziest part. She tried to come in and say, hold up now, hold up now. Let's not make it seem like women can't do this stuff, and then turn around and say 1 in 4. 25% of girls. So every 4th girl that gets born getting touched by somebody. Every one girl out of 4 is getting touched. Like, come on, man. Stop with the nonsense, man. Now, 1 out of 9 ain't good either. I'll be honest with y'all. 1 out of 9 ain't good either. But still, though, we got to be honest about what we're talking about. Let's not keep playing these games like it's something that it's not, man. Let's be real. Let's see what Cortez said. 1 in 9 is way more realistic. Yeah, I can see that. And also, I still think that's kind of high. But he also said, I even heard people quote stats saying that up to 40% of women. Yeah, that be them feminist motherfuckers saying that dumb shit. Them misandrous. Honestly, I ain't even gonna call them feminists. I'm gonna start calling these chicks misandrous, man. Because really, a lot of these motherfuckers be saying shit just because they hate men. They want to make men look bad no matter what. Even though they still want a man to pay their bills and pay them money if they work at a job and, you know, take them out on dates and all that. We're like, fuck out of here with that nonsense. But we're gonna go back to it because this is a terrible therapist. And this is what a lot of people, when they tell you need to go to therapy, you end up with somebody like this. Women need to go to male therapists. I don't even think there should be any female therapists. People call that sexist all you want. You can call it whatever you want. I don't think people should go to female therapists. I don't think so. Me personally. But let's keep going.
Drop the link in the chat so we can come up, so the audience can come up and join Dr. Spirit up here.
Absolutely, y'all. So go ahead. It's about that time. Dr. Spirit, we got your time tonight. I know it's nice and late. You gonna rock with us here tonight?
I'm gonna rock with you for a few minutes. I'll give you a good 20, 30 minutes. Come on.
There you go. We got about a good 30. So y'all get some free therapy. I think Dr. Spirit is like 3 years back rolled right now. If you're trying to get some real therapy from Dr. Spirit.
We'll take it. Thank
so
you,
we're gonna
man.
go ahead and get a light 30 minutes in. So Ryan is dropping the link in the chat. And what we're gonna do is you guys can head backstage.
So guys, please call in.
We're gonna let the people come up now. Who we got backstage now?
We got Darwin backstage.
Okay, go ahead and bring my brother up. Darwin, what's up with you, brother? Brother, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What's up with you, brother? If you can't, I got your name. Can you give me your age and your location?
Age is 38, Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
This is a content creator. The first person they let up is another content creator. Amazing.
What's
ATL.
up with ATL here? So what's your question for us tonight, Darwin?
My question is, I noticed a woman said she saw the signs. So if you see the signs before your kids come into a picture, how much is this self-inflicted? Me looking from that.
I said I didn't see the signs until after we were married already, so we were already invested as a family at that point.
What I'm
Hold up. Y'all were already invested in a week? Y'all remember now, she got married within a week of this guy and them going on that date. How was your family already invested? We can't just skip past that. She got married within 1 week. 1 week of getting going on a date with this guy. How the fuck you invested? Your family invested in a week. But you ain't even invested in a week. So we're gonna stop the cap on that one because I think that was a good question that he asked. I'm gonna let him ask it again. But yeah, this is another content creator. I've seen him on YouTube. Cortez said strange. He said exactly another content creator. He said invested in a week, putting kids in danger equals putting kids in danger. Yeah, they damn sure do.
So if you see the signs before your kids come into a picture, how much is this self-inflicted? Me looking from that.
I said I didn't see the signs until after we were married already, so we were already invested as a family at that point.
What I'm hearing is that your kids, you had kids after you got married, right?
Yes.
So you said in the beginning of the marriage, I think in another video or maybe even a day, you said in the beginning of your marriage, he was pretty much sexually violating. So what I'm seeing is that you knew that this man was offensive or abusive, but then you went on ahead and had kids with him. So that means that for me, you put your kids in danger.
I think that that's the narrative that you want to put on the situation, but that's not the reality of what it was. And like I said, I was very heavily manipulated by scripture. He, would use it. He would gaslight me, and I, after I had
not that again.
I don't even know if I was pregnant yet after the last time it happened. So, and every other way, he was a good man. I didn't think that it was worth throwing my family away, or the family that we were trying to create, because he had done those things. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that would mean that he would go on to abuse his own children. I don't know how someone would correlate the two. But that's just my opinion.
Now, Darwin, I want you to hold tight, because I think that was a valid concern. I think a lot of men feel that way. I mean, you can read through the comments of the video that went viral. A lot of men have this perception of what they think victimhood should look like. So, Dr. Spirit, I want to get your help here, because for the people who are posing this type of question, hey, if you've already experienced this abuse, or you've already experienced some of these negative things, how could you continue to move forward in a relationship? Dr. Spirit, could you give us some context on why someone who has been victimized may continue to continue with the relationship?
Because oftentimes a victim believes that it's something that is unique to them. They don't believe that the person that they love would consider doing more heinous things. Oftentimes they think that that's something that's specific to their relationship. So again, I don't know the story here, I don't know the backstory, but when we're talking about a victim of abuse, they don't necessarily think if I have children with someone, they will abuse someone too. And I want you to remember this, because it's very easy to sit back and judge somebody when you have a healthy mind in a space that is absent of trauma. When you are caught in a cycle, the way that you see things, the way that you feel about things, the way that your brain operates is very different. So that may be also why you're hearing how she was perceiving relationships before she had therapeutic support and how she's perceiving those things now. And so I just want you guys to be very careful. It is very hard to understand what victims go through if you have never been a victim yourself. But one of the things that most victims will tell you on the other side of healing is that nobody is judging or critiquing them more, and nobody is suffering more than the victims who are going through the experience. So asking questions are important.
Hey, look, a lot of people ain't victims because they can identify that this ain't right and they got the fuck away from it. Let's have that other. Let's talk about that other side of the coin. You got people playing stupid after the fact. Like, that's like a girl going to a frat party and ain't nothing but dudes, and then she walking there and ain't nothing but dudes, and then she stay. And then be surprised some bullshit happen. That's somebody being dumb. That's like me going on the wrong side of town late at night and thinking that everything's supposed to be cool and dandy. Like, don't nothing bad happen around here, you know, everything's gonna be fine if I don't do it. You're being dumb. We need to address that point first. We can't keep talking about what happened afterwards. Like, a lot of ladies get mad when we talk about, like, guys in certain spaces talk about, well, you wore that out there. How about limiting? Because that's the main point. Limiting opportunities for things to happen. Don't go out with half your ass out, because you're more likely to have somebody approach you a certain type of way because you're dressed a certain type of way. Ladies push back on that. I should be able to wear whatever I want to wear. I'm going to wear whatever I want. That's what a lot of ladies be on. And then some shit happened, and now we here sitting in therapy. How about we address it on the front end? Don't put yourself in situations that you're going to have to get therapy for and healing from. Just avoid it. But no, we want to keep on telling people to just move how they want to move and do what they want to do. And then after the fact, we're trying to pick shit up. It's the same thing with having kids. We want to talk more about how women should be able to raise their kids later on, being a single mother, the resources and all that. How about you stop them from being single mothers? But guess what? You can't do that because a lot of these people in all these situations are making conscious decisions to do what they want to do, and it's not turning out the way that they want it to turn out. So now they're a victim. I'm not saying somebody doing something to you is right. I'll never say that. But I damn sure have less sympathy for somebody that puts themselves in a situation when they have signs that show them you need to get the fuck out of there. But you sit there like a dummy and then want everybody to come around when something bad happens. It's like somebody getting with an NFL, matter of fact, getting with a rapper. A female getting with a rapper and then complaining a year later that he was cheating on her. Like, what the fuck you think he was gonna do? What you think he was gonna do? This is crazy. We gonna have the same situation with Travis Hunter when his girl doing wrong. He gonna marry that girl and gonna have a baby by her, she gonna take all his shit. And he gonna sit around and cry about it. Guess what? I ain't gonna have no sympathy. Because motherfuckers already told you. And we telling all y'all right now, listen. Stop thinking that everybody trying to tell you what to do. We're trying to help you. Otherwise, I wouldn't say nothing to you, man. Do your thing. That's what a lot of ladies be telling a lot of other ladies. Man, just do it. Live your life, man. Y'all need to stop just doing it. Because they don't give a fuck about you. They don't. They give a fuck about how it makes them feel. They don't give a fuck about you. Because somebody that really care about you will tell you shit that they know you don't like. To better you. Like, come on now. That's the whole point of being a parent.
Important. But asking them from a place of objectivity is even more important.
Well, the reason
Darwin, we're gonna let you close out here so we can get to the other callers. But go ahead, brother.
The reason why I frame my question like that is because she believes in what I believe in. I believe in God. So she gave me a source of a way to hold her accountable when she started saying God this and God that. And if you read the word, you would know that sexual immorality or physical abuse or anything like that is pretty much grounds for divorce. And that supersedes any type of gaslighting or emotional manipulation. If she's so grounded in the word and scripture, that actually supersedes any of the other offenses this man put towards her. And that's the reason why I frame my question like that. Because if we're going to call ourselves spiritually driven and backed by biblical principles, sorry, that's my son in the background, we have to be unwavering. We have to be unwavering. And that's the only reason why I frame my question like that. But my sorrows goes out to you. I hope that you can heal from this. And I appreciate you, Dr. Spirit, for talking to the lady.
I appreciate you as well. And please understand, for everybody that may be in the chat tonight, I want you to understand that it's not about defending anybody. It's not about debating anybody. The only thing that I want to do is offer as much clarity as possible, because I want us all to be our best selves. And I wish that more pastors had Darwin's perspective. I wish that more church members had that perspective that says be unwavering in support of victims, because most folks who are working with church folks who are being wounded by their partners, who are being wounded by their spouses, who are being wounded by family members, if we were unwavering in abuse and we protected and stood up for one another, we wouldn't have victims staying in situations trying to take it to prayer closets, praying it away, acting like it doesn't matter, being ashamed, and keeping that trauma a secret. So here for help, however we have to find it.
Absolutely.
That ain't what he said. That is not what he said. He said being unwavering in the word of God. If this man was doing something to you, that was grounds for divorce in the Bible. Don't be unwavering and not divorce that man because he did you wrong, according to the Bible. No, she stayed there. He ain't talking about that shit you talking about. She just disregarded what he said and tried to make it seem like he was talking about being unwavering and being a victim. He didn't talk about that. Like, come on, lady. You trying to, man, nah, man. See, that's why you would never see me. Look, let me get married again. And let my new wife try to take me into a therapist and it's a female. I'm walking right out. Right out the door. Nope. Oh, he's always like that. I'm straight up, and that ain't on no sexy shit. I'm not listening to no lady. He was telling her, if she claims she lives by the word of God, by the Bible, when these things were happening to her, she had grounds for divorce according to the Bible, and she should have left. If she was so 10 toes down on religion, she would have left. She didn't leave. She didn't leave. And supposedly this led to her kids being touched. He questioning her faith. He ain't questioning her being no damn victim. He questioning her faith. Because a lot of people like to throw God into everything. And they ain't really practicing. Be unwavering in your faith. Not unwavering in being a victim or believing victims. This therapist is a piece of shit.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Let's get the next one up here. We got a young lady coming up here. What's her name? Ayana, what's up with you, sister? How you doing?
Well, this is like such a sad story, just in general. So I first wanted to say I'm so sorry to Isis that you even had this experience. I wouldn't wish this type of thing on anybody.
Accusations! These are not accusations. This is false accusations. And
my question is, in hindsight, is there any like small signs that now seem like they were a bigger thing? Like, is there anything that you can think back on possibly that maybe now you're like, oh my gosh, that might have been a signal that this person was an evil monster?
The signs were very, very small and covert, to be honest. When I think back little things, sometimes my daughter, she would...
Let me stop. Cortez said it best. This comment right here, because she said this did happen. She talked about it in this video. Raping you wasn't enough. Y'all hear what she just said? There were small signs. She said this man raped her within the first year. But that wasn't a big enough sign for her. Oh, I let him manipulate me with the word of God. Man, girl, if you don't get the hell up out of here. It's like you want to use the word of God on one instance, then use the word of God again on the other instance. Man, come on. Like, for real, that's why I don't listen to people like this. And the Bible actually tells you, if you want to be real, do not hearken to a woman's word. Take that scripture down. Since we sitting here talking, since we want to bring the Lord into this stuff, motherfuckers shouldn't even be listening to you. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You allowing bad things to happen to you. And, I'm just going to keep riding it out because, I'm living a good life and he's providing money and all this stuff. But, I draw the line in my kids, if that's even true. Man, lady, shut the hell up.
It appeared that her and my husband, or both of my daughters and my husband, had a very good relationship. But sometimes she would come when we were sitting together and she would say, "Mommy, I love you the most." And she would only say it when he was around. So sometimes little signs like that, it's not always a red flag at the time, but now in hindsight, I'm like, was she just trying to tell me that she didn't feel safe around him?
Wow. Now, Dr. Spirit, I do want you to chime in on this because Isis did mention about, her spouse also being controlling as well. So what are some things that the ladies and also, guys should look for when it comes to identifying if a partner may, eventually become controlling or manipulative?
Well, there's a difference between controlling and manipulative and sexual abuse. So I want us to be very clear on that.
Gotcha.
And so when we're talking about how do we protect children from sexual abuse, one of the things that we have to let them know is that we are unwavering in our protection of them. And as much as we love our spouses, their mommies or their daddies, we don't love anybody and won't protect anybody more than we will protect them.
Amen.
And if they ever have something to tell us, we will believe them.
Amen.
So it's important for us to have those kinds of conversations with our children. It's important for us to use the right language about their body parts and about privacy. And especially to your point, Ryan, when you're talking about control, you want to make sure that children know that nobody has control over their bodies except for them. So not mommy, not daddy, and no one has the right to touch your penis. We don't call it a pecker or a Johnny or a Johnson. We call it a penis. We don't call a vagina a pocketbook or cookies or cupcake or anything else fun. We call it a vagina. We talk about breasts. We talk about having privacy and being able to cover up. We talk about you being able to take care of your private areas. And that if anybody touches you in ways that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can come and talk to me about it and I will believe you. And no one will be in trouble in ways that will hurt you. And so we have to be emphatic about those conversations. We have to periodically ask our children, has anyone said anything to you that has made you feel uncomfortable? Has anybody asked you to keep secrets from mommy or from daddy and not tell us? Has anybody said that they want to do things to you or have done things to you and they tell you that if you tell, they will hurt me or they will hurt daddy? We have to learn how to be able to ask the right questions because predators not only know how to scare our children, how to isolate our children, but also they know how to make our children have affection and care and regard for them. So even though they may feel uncomfortable, they may feel more uncomfortable telling on that individual. And so that's why we have to learn how to take care of our children and let them know that nobody has the right to make them feel uncomfortable or do things to them that are outside of your purview as their parent.
One thing I do want to say, Dr. Spirit, is that these type of conversations are conversations I have with all of my kids, just as a woman who has been a survivor of CSA. And I did use the language, mommy and daddy. Only mommy and daddy can clean you, only mommy and daddy. But now in hindsight, I just wish I would have said mommy. And that's the sad thing. And I know that that's not going to be every woman's story, thank God. But
I think something else.
Not that again.
That's very important that we talk about tonight is as you talk about healing and mentioning being a survivor of CSA. It is so important that we recognize that when we are dealing with sexual abuse, no matter what age we experience it at, it increases our risk for being abused in sexual ways and physical ways and emotional ways as we get older. So I want to make people aware of that tonight, because if there is anyone who is a victim of any form of abuse, especially in their childhood, who is having relationship problems over and over and over, choosing narcissistic partners, choosing people who abuse them in relationships over and over, please recognize that that may be a function of your illness needing treatment so that you can change that cycle of abuse. Okay, it's very important, and I'm glad that you shared that.
Thank you for that, Dr. Spirit. And thank you so much, Anna, for that question. Was that all you had, sister?
Okay, just one more thing. I'll make it fast. I just also wanted to say, I guess I don't want to use the word like thank you, but like a thank you to Isis for listening to your children, because there are a lot of parents, unfortunately, we like to think that parents are protectors and things, but not all parents are like that. So just thank you to you for listening to your daughters and taking action rather than just taking the lifestyle and letting them continue to be in that experience. And I know some people are like, why are you putting it out there? But I feel like part of the problem is we don't talk about it enough. It's like what stays in the house happens in the house. We don't talk about it. But is that to protect the predators? Is that enabling the people that are hurting our children? So I just hope you continue sharing your story, and because you are making a difference in people's lives, and people will say what they want to say, but only you know what's right for your family and your children. And as soon as you heard something, you did something and you acted. And I just think that that's a testament to you as a person. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well,
Hey, real shit, man. Look, we don't talk about children and women and kids getting abused, right? We don't talk about it. That's why everybody just jumped on this and automatically straight up believed her We don't talk about women getting abused. You know, remember when that lady got hit in the face with a supposed brick? Everybody didn't just jump on that because, we don't talk about these things. We don't ever talk about it. Man, that's all we talk about. When it comes to men and women dynamics, when it comes to negative things, we talk about that all the time. We always take the women's side when it comes to these issues. There are a lot of women that go through things, and I will never take away from that. And those women need to be protected. Those men need to be locked up for the things that they do. But we talk about this shit all the time. She's not bringing anything new to light. The question is what she's saying true? That's the question. Is it true? The problem that we have in society is that we automatically believe any woman every time they come out their mouth and say something happened without any damn evidence. We automatically believe it. That's the problem. We don't have a problem hemming dudes up. Majority of people in prison in the United States of America, guess who they are? They're men. We hold men accountable for the things that they do. Other men hold men accountable for the things that they do. Not the women. Men do. Stop. Don't sit here and act like we don't talk about this shit. We do. Every time it pop up. We got people just flooding comment sections. Yeah, these men ain't get out of here. Like, bitch. That was stupid. I'm gonna do one more person, y'all. One more caller in, and then we getting the hell up out of here because this is triggering me, and I need to cook something anyways. It's pissing me off. And see, Cortez said exactly. The only thing the media focused on this year was women being abused, Diddy and Jay. Yep, Jay-Z, not me. Not me.
Appreciate your thank you. But honestly, to me, what other decision would a good mother make? I come from a line of fierce protective women, unfortunately, that have had to be victims as well. But my mother believed me. Her mother believed her. There's no other way to do it. In my opinion, shame on any mother that would discount such a serious allegation. Shame.
Ayana, thank you so much for coming up here, sweetheart. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bring the next call. I'm gonna bring a couple more callers up here. As we got Dr. Spirit here live with us. Isis Morales here is also joining us. The next caller we have here, it looks like we have Brianna on the stage here. Welcome, Brianna, the Hardly Initiated. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you all?
I'm blessed. Give me your age and your location.
So I'm 23 and right now I'm in Michigan.
23 years old. Wow. There you go.
Young initiate.
Got the young bull on. What's your question?
So my question, I guess, would be with the platform of Me Too and the significance of really platforming your experience of like grave trauma, especially in the midst of healing with what you seem to experience, which is PTSD. And then also just coming to terms with the fact that you're probably also simultaneously dealing with a case. My question would be, what are the psychological implications of platforming your experience? How do you navigate the backlash that comes with sharing your experience? Because like even reading the chat, like it's been like typed before it even like got live. So my thing is like, how do you?
I'm gonna do another question after this because this ain't no question, man. This like, how you dealing with that? I don't care about that. I'm gonna do one more question, see if somebody asking the real question. But I'm gonna let her say what she got to say.
Steward that type of platform in a way that's going to bring you peace ultimately.
My peace comes from God because He's the one that's leading my steps, and that's been my prayer every day. God, lead my steps. And I felt like God wouldn't let me move forward in life until I spoke my truth, because it's just been swept under the rug for so long, generationally. And this isn't something that's just affecting my own family. This is affecting more families than we know. And it was important to share, especially in the wake of the Menendez brothers case and just all that's going on in the world with, all these predators being exposed. And Cat Williams was very prophetic when he said that this is the year. Time is up. This is the year. And I knew I had to say something.
Cat Williams was talking about men being abused, bitch, not women. I'm sorry.
Great question, Brianna.
Yeah, great question, Brianna. Really, really great question, because this is a unique situation, Dr. Spirit. This ISIS has put out a testimony video. They got 2.5 million views, something around at this point. So I mean, she's being inundated. I can imagine with probably emails, comments, DMs,
phone calls, everything.
Phone calls,
people
family,
just,
people from elementary school.
Oh my gosh, it's just been crazy.
And I can imagine it's all types of emotions, right? You got the people who are, reaching out with love and support, and you got the other people who are pissed off, who are probably, calling you a liar, telling you that all these different things are happening.
Where's the accountability? So everything.
Yeah,
100%. So, I mean, that's a unique situation, Dr. Spirit, to kind of be dealing with that whirlwind, of other people being involved in your business at this point, and you're a content creator. So the thing about it is,
nah, you're right about that, Cortez. It's amazing that she says she comes from this long line of women that protect, and it seems like all these so-called protecting women allow their kids to be unprotected. Put it like that. You so strong, but you can't seem to stop things from happening to your kids. But you strong, you protecting them. I think you need to stop saying you came from a long line of protected women, because obviously they ain't protecting shit, right? And I know somebody come around and say, well, you can't protect your kids all the time. You can protect your kids and tell them stranger danger and get the hell the fuck up out of there and tell you about it before it happens. Nah. She had to coax a 4-year, 5-year-old girl into saying somebody touched her. Like, come on, man. I don't even know if that shit true, man. Like, for real, now, y'all ain't protecting shit, man.
That is your job, because you put them in your business as a coach because you were really helping these ladies. So you almost had a responsibility to tell them these other things and involve them in your advancement. But this is a different level of trauma, and just energy even coming your way at this point. Dr. Spirit, I mean, what do you say to somebody going through something like that in that type of space?
Man, we about to skip ahead.
As I'm listening to you guys, I'm learning more and more. And for me, it's concerning, because
next caller.
It's very hard to help people when you are experiencing so much trauma.
I'm gonna clean up my room and put my toys up. I'm not sure what he got going on into that message. Anyway, it's really the first part of the message, Dr. Spirit, because it's where the accountability is at. And I myself is actually
here we go. Yeah,
our brother backstage, right, Lano? We got my brother Chandler backstage. Let's go ahead and bring my brother here. What's up, Chandler? How you doing, brother? You are on mute. Unmute yourself real quick, Chandler, so we can make sure we can hear you, brother.
I got that Christmas sweat on, man.
Brother, looking like the 25th. What's up?
We sure can.
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. Give me your age and your location.
Okay. Kind of I'm anonymous, and that's not my name. I'm using somebody else's Zoom right now. Sorry, but like really quick question.
Hold on, wait. Give me. You say your age and location is anonymous?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. Is that a problem?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
let that man stay anonymous. He's trying to stay out of trouble. Let him stay right
okay. Dr. Spirit said you're trying to stay out of trouble. Let's go ahead and let him rock then. Go ahead. What's your question, brother?
It plays into the social media aspect. I think what happened to your children is absolutely horrible, and I think to get on such a large platform and share your story is difficult. I don't know that I could comprehend how difficult it is to share this particular story. But how do you reconcile sharing that story as it is your story, but it's also your children's story? So now 2.4 million or however many other people see that will now know that happened to them at the hands of their father or stepfather. How difficult is that?
It's very difficult, and it's actually something that I struggled with back and forth before I even recorded the video, because I didn't want to put my children's trauma out there for everybody. But honestly, I felt God gave me no other choice. Like I keep saying, this isn't about just us. It's not about just us.
Stop. So, calling the police, having this dealt with the court system, possibly getting him sent to prison, that wasn't any options. It was run to the internet. Where my clip at?
That ain't right. That ain't right. It ain't right.
That ain't right. That ain't right, y'all. That don't even make logical sense. I always get taken back a little bit, y'all. And I'm just giving you my personal shit. When I hear stories about like this celebrity did this or this person did that, and the first thing that they do is either go get they try to sue somebody for money, like when the Deshaun Watson situation popped off. They were trying to civilly sue him. I'm like, why didn't anybody run to the police and file a police report? None of that happened. But we were supposed to believe it. We're supposed to believe everything happened and it was unconsensual. But you didn't go to the police because somebody did you wrong. You went to try to get some money out of somebody. In this same situation. Now, I understand she said in her last video that we all saw and I covered that she has a court case going on. Why would you come to the internet with that? I don't think people understand. She had to have done this out of attention seeking. Why would you put this on the internet where your kids will grow up later and this shit doesn't leave? It doesn't leave. People are going to find out who your kids are. There are a lot of nosy people on the internet. There are a lot of people that don't have nothing better to do in the day besides look up what other people got going on and get into their shit. So you put this on the internet. These kids are gonna grow up just like Kim Kardashian kids are gonna grow up and find out she got a sex tape with Ray J. Why wouldn't you handle this behind closed doors with the court system? No, you ran to the internet for attention. That's what it is about. Attention. If anybody cannot see that, I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're looking at. Nobody should know about this besides the justice system in whatever jurisdiction she live in and the family members surrounding that shit. This shit is all over the goddamn internet. This is for attention and attention only. That lady didn't give a fuck about her kids. She didn't give a fuck about her kids. But I'm going to say my thoughts. I'm going to let them keep talking. I'm going to let Chandler get up off of here. But I'm going to go in on this because I'm tired of this nonsense, man. We are too damn smart to keep going down the same old path.
It had to be said.
There you go, Chandler. I mean, it seems like you're going to be brief and brilliant on that one. It's really
I don't know what else to say. That's all it is. This isn't about views. It's not about anything other than I thought that maybe, YouTube is my only source of income. I was like, maybe I will help some of my community in updating them just to be aware that this could happen. I had no idea that this would go viral to this extent. I had a small YouTube channel. I still do. I never expected all this to happen, but God kept saying, you need to tell.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Truth. Because I glorified this man in public. I made it seem like it was a fairy tale, and in a way it was. It seemed like it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
And Dr. Spirit, just to give you an idea, because I know you are really in the dark about the situation, the purpose of ISIS's YouTube channel was to help ladies find a husband.
Find love within a year.
Absolutely. Which is obviously the story line that she had herself. And that was what most of the content was about, which is, again, why she is now communicating, why she felt compelled to communicate that it wasn't what you said it was.
Well, there was things going on that I wasn't even aware of that this man was doing.
Yeah.
He played everyone around me. Everyone around me was shocked. They couldn't believe that he would do such a thing. He seemed like such a good dad, the perfect provider. People looked at us like, oh, they're such a beautiful family. Everywhere we went, that's all we heard. What a beautiful family. I would never have expected this man to do this. And in my research, I've realized that this is one of the most common forms of sexual abuse is fathers, unfortunately. And people are not talking about it because of the shame. It's so embarrassing, and I hate that I, have had to expose what have happened to my children, but I'm just praying that even if it helps one person, it was worth it.
There you go, Chandler. Thank you so much for your question, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a good night. Man, first of all, man, Dr. Spirit, I think you...
Man, look, I'm done with that shit, man. I ain't got time for that, man. I'm gonna be dead serious with y'all. Like, look, and this ain't about not believing nobody. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
That ain't right. It ain't right.
Got my boys, man. Me and my boys be sitting around looking at stuff like this, man. We be just like this.
Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. This shit wild. You saw that shit, man?
I can't do it, man. I can't do it, man. Until I see somebody in jail, in prison, and all this woo shit off of this, I can't get behind it, man. I can't get behind it. I've seen too many high profile cases where this was so-called accusation, and we find out years later that it couldn't be any further from the truth. And people are trying to wrap it around in their heads. Like, I heard people say this before. Why would they lie? Why wouldn't they lie? Only benefit they can get is from lying. Think about that. From the last video that I covered, it was put out there that the man that she keeps accusing of touching his own kids, filed for divorce from her. And then magically out of nowhere, here came all these accusations. That's the story that I'm sticking to, because that's the story that I heard. And it doesn't seem to change. If you're so traumatized about your story, why are you going around talking about it? I can understand if you were like a public person and, people knew you, celebrity or whatever. I can get that in a certain extent because you're already in the public life and it's like kind of normal. But you're nobody. You're somebody that came from watching Shira 7, which ain't a good like backstory. I was watching Shira 7 and I got what I got. Shira 7 don't tell nobody but to take advantage of men. That's all she do. Tell women how to manipulate and take advantage of men. That's her whole channel. And you say you was watching her and she inspired you to get with an older man. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that, okay, he was like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm not dealing with your shit no more. And your 2 kids that you brought into this goddamn marriage, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And I probably want my kids too. Oh, he touched my kids. He touched my kids. How far-fetched is that? And honestly, I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of y'all that would come in and be like, that's some bullshit. I know y'all done seen that in y'all life. Y'all done seen a lot of women come around and make accusations on dudes because things didn't go their way. I done seen a girl cheat with another dude, get caught by her dude, and then blame the dude for some shit. Because guess what? The status quo is if that girl cheats on the guy and everybody else hear about it, first question, girl cheats on her boyfriend. First question out of everybody else's mouth. What did he do? So that already shows you that we're already, what's that word? We're already prone. We're already, that's another word I'm looking for. I'm just go with prone. We're already prone to goddamn believe what the fuck she's saying. We're already conditioned to be in that mindset. I don't believe the lady. I don't. And that's just me. Y'all can disagree with me in all day damn long. I don't care. I'm watching her. I'm looking at her body language. Her story's not adding up to me. You can't be that damn dumb. You shouldn't have kids if you're that damn dumb. Let's say she is that dumb. You shouldn't have kids. You don't even need custody of your kids. This looks like a woman that was trying to live off of her looks, preying on old men after watching Sierra 7, and when the relationship started to fall through, she made an accusation about a man. That's what it seemed like to me. And this is not me being biased about men. Her story does not add up. You will not sit here and tell me that this man raped you multiple times, 4 times exact from what you told me. And you didn't get out of the relationship, and then you turn around and act stupid and act like, oh, he touched my kids now too. I'm not hearing that. We cannot keep giving passes and excuses for dumb ass behavior. If it's true, boom, lock his ass up. I'm with y'all on this one. Lock his ass up. But guess what? Take them fucking kids away from her. She don't need to have no goddamn kids. She need to go to a mental institution and get talked to. Not that fake ass therapist that was on there right there trying to speak to her. None of that. She need to go to a padded room place, get on some pills and shit so we can figure this thing out. But he can go to jail. I'm cool with it. He can go to jail. Them kids can go to family members because supposedly they all working women, strong, protecting women and all this and all that. They can go to your family. It don't matter. Even though I know they probably have an argument on the other side. But yeah, they can do that. He can go to prison and you can go to a mental institution. Because you are not fit to be a mother. You are not. I don't believe none of this shit, y'all. I don't. We got Leo up in the building saying a lot of dudes fell out because of a woman. Shaking my head. It's sad out here. It is. We got too many dudes out here crashing out. I'll tell you, majority of the dudes are sitting in the cemetery. Majority of the dudes sitting in the cemetery crash out over a chick. Most dudes end up either in jail or in a grave. Mess around with some of these chicks. I don't fall for this nonsense. I'm dealt with too many damn women to understand. And I damn sure grew up in the household with women. This manipulation shit, these fake ass tears and shit. And everybody just think back in time. I want y'all to really check this. Cause this is gonna be something that's really funny. Just think back in time when you were a child and you knew you were about to get in trouble for something. How many of y'all could cry on command? How many of y'all, boys and girls, how many of y'all could cry on command? Because I know I could. I'll bust them waterworks out real quick. You think it's hard for somebody that's an adult? Think about that, y'all. You think it's hard for somebody that's an adult? If you had that ability as a child, you think it's hard for somebody that's an adult? I don't trust them waterworks. If your story not adding up, it's not adding up. Now, if I'm wrong about this entire situation and it comes out that that man actually did touch them kids and all that woo shit, I will apologize for saying she lied about him doing that. But I'm going to stand 10 toes down on she a dumb bitch. I'm going to stand 10 toes on that. Because I'm never going to sit here and fucking put a cape on for somebody that put their kids, if it's true, put their kids in a messed up situation. All because they wanted to live a certain type of lifestyle. Because that's all it was. If that man really did it, she tolerated that man touching her and taking from her sexually. All to keep a lifestyle and then allow her kids to get touched. Ain't nobody hearing that nonsense, man. You're not holier than thou. You're not holier than thou. And then on top of that, man, lady, you got 2 kids from 2 different men before you even turn 22. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You're not an example. You're not nothing to be cried over. You sound like somebody that lived a certain type of lifestyle and you got the results that you got from it. Man, we're going to figure out what comes from it. Next time I hear something about it, y'all, I promise you I'll be right back here for it because I wasn't even planning on doing this tonight. But when I saw this shit, I was like, oh, you know, we got to talk about this. But, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But for all y'all that tuned in tonight, man, make sure y'all hit that like. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe. All that in the bag of chips. Turn them notifications on, share the videos. You watching over on Facebook, do whatever they tell you to do over there on Facebook. I don't know how that shit work. I don't be over there on the regular, you know, YouTube is my home, but you know, I'll be shooting over there. I'll be trying to look out for y'all. Trying to look out. But your boy gonna get the fuck up out of here, man. Y'all stay safe, man. Stay out the way, and we'll be right back here tomorrow because you know we got the sports show. We got the sports show, and we got to talk about my Chiefs doing what my Chiefs be doing. But I don't fuck with y'all, man. I don't fuck with y'all. I catch y'all in the next one as always, man. Peace.
Don't tell me about me. Stop telling 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 me about me. I don't need you to tell me about me.